Welcome to the Nomad Network, your first stop for complete and comprehensive Chicago Bears football coverage. Dive deep into analyses, updates, and all things Bears. Subscribe to our YouTube channel today and never miss a beat. Thank you in advance for your support. We promise to bring you the best because together we're unstoppable. Go Bears!
Yo, No Maniacs. Welcome to another edition of Nomad at Night. Happy pre-Memorial Day to everybody that has somebody to remember, and everybody guaranteed does. And so just happy Memorial Day to everybody, man. You know, don't let the holiday get a little too heavy. It's one of the ones that I really adhere to because I do love the remembrance of, people I love that are no longer with us, man, and doesn't have anything to do with generations either, man. Your ancestors, man, your immediate family, everybody, people that have gone to war, never came back, and came back from war, never was right, and is no longer with us, but all kinds of reasons to memorialize people on this good holiday. So hopefully everybody is doing that in their kind of way. But welcome in again, you guys. We don't have a whole lot special today. It's kind of going to be like a round table for you all, for us and you all, just to engage in some general conversation, man, about this team, about what's going on with them, the additions to the roster, subtractions to the roster. There's still some stuff to talk about here, but, how detailed we get about it is kind of up to us right now. So it's going to be wide open. So hopefully everybody enjoys the show and get interactive is the best thing I can tell you. But let me throw this bounce pass over to Canada and see what the Canuck does.
Same stuff. Happy Sunday. Welcome in. Thanks for coming through and joining us for Nomad at Night. Happy, as it were, Memorial Day to those of you out there. A lot of ups and downs with respect to those who are with us or are no longer with us. Give those memories some time tomorrow and enjoy what you can as you do. That being said, things are pretty straightforward here for me right now. Kind of awaiting this season and what we see in the interim on our way towards that season. And things are pretty status quo. All that being said, I'm gonna throw it down to Trip. What are you saying?
Yeah, it's all good since we were last together Wednesday. Yeah, it's summertime is here once again. A remembrance solemnly, lovingly to those that are no longer with us that we do remember fondly, and the ones that we don't remember fondly, we ain't got to remember them at all. That's our choice. So yeah, just ready to do a little something real quick, get the show in and get out, Nomad at Night, with all the fans, the supporters, across the globe as it were. And and looking forward to the conversation, whatever it may be. And yeah, I'm gonna pop my pizza out the oven when the timer goes off. So let's kick it.
All right, man. Let's open the table up for a little what you've been up to this week, Mr. Canuck. I see you on your phone, but how's your week been? How's family? How's everybody feeling?
Everything's okay. I mean, just more or less regular family stuff. Nothing too spectacular. Like I said, my boy's here. He's back. But we haven't got into too much excitement right now. It's just kind of been more of a getting used to the dog no longer being here type thing, as well as getting used to the kids being back. Just weird is all I can really call it. Just a little weird. But for the most part, regular life stuff is going on here. Nothing too spectacular, man. So just staying with it, making sure the lights are still on and bills are being paid, and trying to roll with them punches, man. But like I said, first couple of days without the dog was a little bit weird. Still a little bit weird. And as we move forward, we're just kind of like, just kind of cleaning some of the stuff out with respect to with respect to the dog is probably the easiest way for me to say it, man. Just kind of moving things around and getting things into a manner in which we can just move forward without really having just regular reminders of the dog. So we'll see how well that works out. So far it ain't been working.
You might as well get very used to that, man, because 14, what'd you say, 14 years with him? 15 years. That dog spirit and soul carries, man. It's like it's gonna take some time, man. Quite a bit.
Yeah. No, even me just this weekend, and I didn't expect to really get, I'm the least likely to have like residual stuff with the dog, just because, again, as I've told you guys, I didn't grow up with pets. I'm not really a pet person, but again, 15 years with a dog,
he's the one cat in the house that liked you.
You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, that's probably the truth. And the feeling might be mutual. I might be the one cat that liked him over the rest of these people in here. But hey, take that for what it's worth. But you know what I mean? It was just, I was sitting outside in my backyard on one of them warmer days this week, just chilling, and I kind of caught a glimpse of just a reflection and automatically assumed it was my dog walking around, and it wasn't nothing. You know what I mean? It was just, oh shit, I don't have a dog. And little things like that will continue on. So stuff to get used to. But that's it. You know what I mean? That's been my week. Regular stuff, just kind of working my way through life like everybody else.
Hey man, all you had in the world was me, Trips, and Ruckus. Nah, no Ruckus.
Well, I've got a whole lot more than that, so thank God. Just let y'all know. But I'm glad for both. Glad to have both of you guys as well. Not to knock you, but you know what I mean.
What up, Trip?
Yeah, everything's good family wise. I was just over here trying to recount the roster because I think we're over actually. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, everything's good. The status quo, which isn't horrible right now. So yeah, cool. And Naj, he's here just so he don't get fined.
Nodster.
Happy Memorial Day, do the salute to service thing, right on. What up to Benji? What is that, Garvey? Cookies. I like cookies.
There might be some bots going on right there.
Cookies.
I don't want to call them a bot, and I don't know, but it looks like bots.
Oh man. Cookie bots, okay. Yeah, so let's kick it. Well, where we want to start off?
Well, let me. I've had a pretty rich week.
Oh yeah, what's that?
As you know, I've been trying to get over there and take care of that landscaping job, but I've been doing it old-fashioned style with hand tools, man. And guess what? And you know what's funny about it all? All I did was kind of clear the landscape, go in there and just clear all the tall shit out, cut everything down so I can see what's what. Did that, but started on the major bush that I think is the most major one there. And bro, I threw everything, the kitchen sink and grandma's slipper at this damn thing and didn't budge.
Mm-hmm.
Cut every root that I could see, and I dug it all up. And it had many. I probably cut at least 11 roots, big roots too. It's not no little dinky. Oh, I found the root. Get it? No, you gotta. I had a sawzall out there on it. Promptly doled out a big blade on that in about an hour. It was over with for that blade. So I got to go to the heavy artillery. I got to bring in a chainsaw now. And so that's what we had. I mean, it did not budge. And so in order for me to get to where I need to get to with that thing, I had to, it's not like a big old chainsaw where I'm gonna be out there like Paul Bunyan like that.
Man, it's still a chainsaw.
It's a chainsaw, man.
I
had to get that. I'm getting that on the job come Tuesday. So I'm gonna get that thing moving forward, hopefully pretty briskly now with the chainsaw. But I try.
Well, I'm just gonna do what I didn't do last week.
What up, King?
Hey, King Booker. I'm just gonna do what I should have done. Sometimes in life, it's best to just throw $1 at a problem, and this may become one of those situations. So I just wanted to suggest, you know what I mean? You
might want to throw $1 at a problem situation.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of situations in life where you can make the decision as, you know what, I'm gonna bust my ass trying to solve this problem, or you know them situation comedies back in the day where, you know, the husband refuses to call the plumber and systematically destroys all the plumbing in the house. There's like 18 different shows that this particular episode has aired on. Take your pick. I'm just saying, sometimes you just want to, throw a couple of bucks at, you know.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Like, it's not like I had a chainsaw, a nice little chainsaw that I bought. Had somebody revamp the engine on it. Anyway, I got the best out of it. Ended up letting my one of my homeboys get it. He felt like he could, you know, fix it and get it back to functioning. Man, he couldn't do nothing when I just told him to keep it. So I had to go get. And this I ain't gonna even tell you it's a big heavy duty chainsaw. It's a handheld.
Damn. So what you're telling me is you went and you bought a chainsaw to go and bust your ass some more and do this job yourself.
For sure.
You're a brave soul.
For sure. For sure.
See, ladies and gentlemen, this is how you get your plumbing fucked up.
No. Listen, man. Some of those I don't know if you've ever.
There is definitely an episode of Married with Children that looks and smells exactly like what we're talking about.
I might not be what you would call a professional, quote unquote, at this job, but I know the do's and don'ts, wills and the won'ts. I know what I can do and what I can't do. But just for reference, man, I don't know what kids. I don't know what exactly your living situation. I know what Trips is, kind of, but some of these handheld chainsaws are really good.
Yeah,
really, really good. If you need to do like regular. I ain't gonna tell you to go out there and cut no big 30-inch wide tree down, 8-inch wide tree or anything like that. But you know, 6 to 8 inches in width, this thing can handle it. And so, you know, technology is getting a whole lot better, and I can hold that thing in my hand. Hey, man, good things can happen, man. But here's the other thing. Memorial Day, I know is tomorrow, and I'm gonna do my part in remembering. But part of that's gonna be me with hands in the soil because I've kicked this can down the road a little bit too long. I've talked about this for a week or two, but we have not put seeds in the ground, and tomorrow is that day. Seeds going in the ground tomorrow. Everybody would tell you that, hey, it's too late. You should have had them things in there a month ago or 3 weeks ago. But I beg to differ. I think we can get this done this year.
Well, good luck to you, man. Because like I'm saying, if I will throw $1 at a problem, I don't give a rat's ass.
Well, you can't. The thing is, kids, I keep trying to tell you this privately, but since we're on the air and we're talking about it, because you know, as I'm not a young spring chicken, I'm not 21 no more. I'm not an old man. However, all the things that you could be doing physically that can give you that boost in blood flow and, you know, getting some of them toxins out of you lie in some of these conversations we're having right now. Of course, anybody can throw $1 at it and cheat what you can do to help yourself and whatever you're doing. And I just choose to look at it that way. Of course, I can go get a bunch of tools and whoop, whoop, and I'm done with that thing. But I insist on, you know, taking that labor and doing something for myself with it physically.
Okay, well, you go out there, you bust your ass and get the job done, man. I'm just saying. But if you get to the point where you've had enough, man, don't let pride step in front of that.
Right. Go ahead and tap out. You be all right.
You know what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying, man. Get your exercise. And
if you'd have seen me on that bush, I've been on that bush continuously for over a week now.
Giggity.
I found everything at this day. And I knew right then when I put that sawzall on it, and I cut every root I could see. Every freaking root I can see, it didn't make it budge one bit. I said, nah, it's time to I ain't finna keep on. Nah, it's time to do something else. I gotta get out the way. So yeah, you definitely better know your limits.
That's all I'm saying to you, man. You get your exercise, you get out there and enjoy yourself. But when that enjoyment turns into frustration,
I'll tell you what,
you call somebody and get things done.
I won't never let a job frustrate me ever. It's just, I'm not gonna let something that's growing out of the ground outsmart me. I mean, it's there. All I have to do is figure out a way to nip it in the bud, man, and I figured it out. But like say for instance, I'll give you an example, kids. Like if you went in the bathroom, got on your scale or wherever your scale is at, you got on your scale right before you went and go do a job like that, and you weighed yourself. You go out there and put your gear on. You go start, hacking at the problem. When you take all that thing off, take everything out after you get done sweating, you go in there and you come tell me that doesn't pay off. You come tell me that doesn't pay off. You can quickly lose a few pounds in a couple hours work. Easily. All you have to do is just work. Yeah. So when it's not only pounds lost, it's about getting the blood flow going and getting the toxins out. All of that's happening while you're losing that weight. And that's more healthy than anything else you could be doing. It's clearing out.
Good way of looking at it.
Yeah, it's clearing out the veins, clearing out the passageways, everything. And toxins is coming out at the same time. Blood is flowing freely. There's nothing restricted. And so the quiet part of being healthy is, what you don't know that's lying beneath your flesh. And that is restrictions, blocked passageways and things like that. When you got it flowing, pumping right, you don't have those problems.
Well, like I said,
the wise.
You enjoy that stuff, man. But like, if it gets to that,
I don't enjoy it, but I know what I get out of it.
That's. I suppose a better way of saying it, like enjoy it is probably the best way of saying it. It's just really a question of personal motivation, and that's sort of what you're saying now. Is you there's levels of motivation underneath the project that you're taking on, and that's cool. But again,
well, question, kids.
Yeah.
If somebody said the science, the technology exists to where if somebody ran 10 miles on a treadmill, you would receive the health benefits, and if you pay them, would you rather run the 10 miles on the treadmill yourself or pay them and garner the health benefits from doing it?
So I'm of the mind to work smarter, not harder.
Wait a minute. You just put them dead in the trick bag, man.
You got your answer, and the answer was exactly what it was. I'm gonna work smart, not hard, man. That's it. If I got a couple of bucks and it's within my financial situation, hell yeah.
So you can have your cup of coffee and joint while my man's on the treadmill.
You're damn straight. You just keep running, bro. I got
saw a movie akin to that a little bit somewhere, and it had to do with people on every day that would get on treadmills. And this,
I know exactly what it was. It was Black Mirror.
Who?
You're gonna say Black Mirror?
Not sure.
You never watched Black Mirror?
Black Mirror. I'm not sure if I did or not, but if you,
who's in that?
Basically, they got on treadmills that were built. Chips were put in these treadmills, and these chips everybody could use. And so basically, kind of what Trips is saying, if you want to be healthy, this chip will keep you healthy. And if you're one of them lazy people who don't want to do it, they've got, lower class people that they paid to do it. And so it's basically a class society. They pay these people to come in, and they have no chance of being in that higher society at all, but they can make money by, charging up these chips and giving it to these rich people.
What's up, Corny? So yeah, like what you're describing sounds so much like Black Mirror. And if I say Black Mirror and your answer
it might have been Black Mirror.
I'm just saying, if your answer is and you haven't seen Black Mirror,
I've seen a little bit. I just can't get my girl into it that much.
Oh, brother, you need to. There's a reason why she hasn't got into it, but you need to put her on it. The reason why is because it's different every. So Black Mirror is like, can't wait till we get into football. But anyways, Black Mirror is like Twilight Zone. So it's like 2020, 2020 version of Twilight Zone. End of the day, every episode is different. So it's tough to get into and like follow every episode, because again, it's not the same people, it's not the same thing, but in general, it's kind of like different takes on.
So like Tales from the Crypt, or Tales from Beyond.
Twilight, oh man.
I mean, so different. What's the genre? Like psychological?
It's sci-fi. It's like sci-fi.
So different sci-fi stories for every episode.
It's a mind bender. I have seen an episode, at least one or two, maybe. It makes you think, for sure.
It's dope. And the one that you're talking about, after watching that, I was like, it's one of the most. I'm glad it sat with you, because it's one of the smartest episodes I've ever seen. And why I'm saying this is a lot of the doomsday stuff we talk about on Wednesday night show, Extra Sauce. Come check us out. Like it's an idea that you could utilize to power a society. You could have treadmills set up and utilize them just to generate kinetic energy alone, and take shifts. You would keep that society in great physical shape. That would not be an issue, as well as now you're powering the society, right? Just a cool little general idea. And when I say society, it could just be a building. You have one building set up, and it might not just be treadmills. You could also have like full workout situations baked into powering that
makes kinetic energy.
You got it.
Transfer to electricity.
Yeah, man. Just a brilliant. Like as soon as I watched that episode, I was like, "Yo, you could take this general little idea and really flex it out, and use that as a way to really keep a fit society, generate energy." And power really wouldn't be an issue.
Right.
Oh,
that's you do something like
Jay Grizz with memory.
Renewable, rechargeable. Trip. Hey,
before I ever named him Triple R, that was his name.
There you go.
That's how it was. A lot of letters, a lot of syllables.
I was like, the minute I seen Triple R's name, I was like, that got to be a cool ass cat. And immediately, once we start chatting and all those chat. It's almost like I was just getting to know him through the chat, man. And that's how everything happened, kind of, through that.
Man, what a dude, Jay Grizz, man. Good to see you. Good to see you, Corny. But yeah, just a little 2 cents on that particular little episode you were watching. Dope. Whole show is dope. Feel free to check it out as you will. But anyways, man, let's do what everybody's looking to do, and let's do the football.
Yeah.
All right. So without getting, I do Trips. You wanna dig into the roster thing you were talking about? You want me to talk a little bit while you're eating that pizza?
No, I'm good. Well, you want to start with the roster, because the news out of Hallis Hall was Nomad asked about something with Tory Taylor and the roster, and what the Bears are doing are utilizing his international status and saving a
roster spot.
Right.
Yeah.
But
they did that last year too.
But what I was looking at right now, I'll share this real quick, is that it looks like they're 1 over. Hold on 1 second here. Put that there. Boom. There it is. Offensively, defensively,
Want to zoom that up a little bit, Trip?
Oh yeah, rock on. Let's go.
There we go.
We're actually why not just do this? Does that work right there? There we go. And then I'll bring this one down just a skosh right about there.
That's a bit better.
And then I will increase the size of the screen right there.
Brilliant.
And then we will do this right here, like there.
Okay.
All right, so now this is
before you go, Trips. Shout out to give RIP to Rob Bass too, man.
Oh,
joy.
Oh yeah, RIP and pain. Pump it up,
sunshine.
Thanks,
What?
Chris.
What else?
And rain.
Yeah, man, that's wild.
Yeah, 59 years old.
I didn't realize
still a pup.
Damn, yeah, that's thank you, sir. Thanks, G-Man. Yeah, that's a sad one, man. Rob Bass, but you know.
Yeah, that.
Let's do the head count because that's where we were going.
Yeah, so it looks like I think there is like this is the current 1 second here, but now one bit more. There we go. A little bit harder to see, but we got so many running backs now, technically.
What up Crimson? Crimson, what up?
All right, what up, Crimson? All right, so between just counting the roster offensively, is that big enough, Cass? Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see that, man. If you want to go over to Miller Mod, okay, no, do your thing. You do it. It's fine. It's no, it's fine. It's fine the way it was.
Oh, this is even better. It's fine. Because the last one on there is Zavion. And like my color codes, my legend, that's over there if you need it.
Okay. All right.
All right. So Caleb Williams, Tyson Bagent, you keep count, kids.
Yeah.
Quarterback room. Wait, actually, I don't have to because guess what? I got my counter. Well, you can't see it, but I'll show you later. But I actually have my counter in my hand right here.
Okay.
All right. So quarterback room currently for the Chicago Bears 2026 roster. Caleb Williams, Tyson Bagent, Case Keenum, and Miller Moss.
Okay.
Running back room, DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monangai, Roshan Johnson, Britton Brown, Coleman Bennett, and Salvon Ahmed. Excuse me. So that's six, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. In the tight end room, Cole Kmet, Colston Loveland, Sam Roush.
Well, time out, Trips. I think you got to take Britton Brown off of there.
Why? Is he gone?
Yeah, no, he's still on the roster.
I'm pretty sure that they cut him at the end of the season.
No, he's still on the roster.
Okay. I thought I heard that they released him.
Okay.
Somebody verify that, but
I will as we keep going. Keep going.
All right. Where was I? Tight end room. Cole Kmet, Colston Loveland, Sam Rouse, Stephen Carlson, Nikola Kalinick, Quadir Ishmael, and Hayden Papa Large.
Big shot of the East Coast. Britton Brown's still there. He's still on the team.
What are you looking at?
I'm looking at our lads right now.
Our lads, he's there?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Let me see. Go ahead, Trips. I'm just looking.
All right. Wide receiver room. Rome Odunze, Luther Burden III, Khalif Raymond, Jade Walker, JP White Chocolate Richardson, Zavion Thomas, Maurice Alexander. That's who got cut, I think. Didn't he?
Yeah, I don't see him.
No, Maurice Alexander.
I don't see Maurice Alexander on the team right now. Wait a second. No, I'm lying to you. He is.
He's still right.
He is. Yeah.
Okay. Amari Kelly, Scotty Miller, Kyron Hudson, and then offensive line is that's where we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so far we're current.
Yes, we are.
I had to make sure my count. 4 and then 1, 2.
Wait a minute. 2, I'm looking. I put AI on this real quick, y'all. I put AI on this, and it's saying that he's under contract. Naj is saying he got released today.
Today?
That's a different story. Let me.
Yeah. If it happened today, I might have missed that. All right, but let me while we research that. Offensive line: Darnell Wright, Jonah Jackson, Logan Jones, Joe Tooney, Jedrick Wills Jr., Theo Benedict, Luke Newman, Garrett Bradbury, Jordan McFadden, Braxton Jones, Joshua Miles, Kyle Hergel, Jaron Kump, Karan Amagaji, Ozzy Trapillo, Mason Murphy, and Caden Barnett. So if I'm correct here, that's 44 players on the roster, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so that's 44. Now defensively, excuse me. We got defensive line. Let me reset my counter. Austin Booker, Javon Dexter, Grady Jarrett, Montez Sweat, Shamar Turner, Neville Gallimore, James Lynch, Deo Odengbo, Jonathan Garvin, Jordan Vandenberg, Kentavious Street, Jamree Chroma, Jeremiah Martin, Jaden Loving, and Daniel Harding. The linebacker room consists of Jack Sanborn, DeMarco Jackson, Devin Bush, Keyshawn Elliott, TJ Edwards, Dominique Hampton, Ruben Hippolyte II, Nephi Sewell, Noah Sewell, John Radigan, Wayne Matthews III. And the defensive backs: Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, Tyrique Stevenson, Dante Manning, Cameron Lewis, Malik Muhammad, Dallas Flowers, Josh Blackwell, Terrell Smith, KC Izoume, and Jalen Jones. And the defense is backed up by the safety room of Kobe Bryant, Dylan Thieneman, Javarius Owens, Elijah Hicks, Anthony Johnson Jr., and Skylar Thomas. And by my count, that is 43 players on that defensive roster.
So that gives us 87, correct?
And then we go to the special teams.
Wait, before you go there, quick question for kids. I don't know if you know this, but I will Google this. Futures contract, how relevant is that?
How relevant is it?
Yeah, because like a guy that he mentioned, one of the edge rushers, Jeremiah Martin, is on a futures contract.
It's not relevant, really. And what I mean by that is, like, if you're on a futures, means they see something in you, they're not paying you big money, and you're likely to be a developmental talent, probably on the practice squad. Like, you're probably a practice squad.
I think I think generally everybody can understand that, but I'm talking about contractually. Some of the language in the contract probably, if they sign it, that probably prohibits him in a way or so that he has to kind of remain if the opportunity presents to development with the Chicago Bears. Is what I'm trying.
No. Well, you know what I'm saying? So, like, the yes to what you're implying only exists if he makes the 53. If he's on the practice squad, that's outside of the 53, and he's fair man's game, right? If somebody else goes out there and says, "We've seen your tape, we've seen your practice tape, and we want to pay you $200,000 more," and he decides to take it, he's gone.
Well, keep going. I'm gonna Google this up.
All right, so special teams. We have Cairo Santos, Gabriel Placinia. We're not counting Tory Taylor right now because he's international. And then long snapper battle between Luke Elkin and Bo Gardner for a total of 4 roster positions. Because remember, Tory Taylor is an international player, and so he has an exemption. So how much is that?
So you're saying we're 1 over.
So how much is that total, kids?
Yeah, we're 91. You're right.
All right, so if that's 91, then that means we're at roster capacity right now.
And you didn't count Luke or Bo anywhere else?
No, because they're special teams guys only, long snappers.
Okay.
They're, so yeah. Yeah, and yes, thanks, Naj. Deion Hankins. We were aware that is released. That's why he's in red over here,
So if
as
that's the
was
case, we're at
Squirrel
90.
White.
If that's the case, we're at 90.
All right, so the roster is full then.
Yeah.
So any signings, from June 1st cuts or free agents, somebody's got to go.
Well, let me
we have
read.
currently.
Let me give you guys the definition of a futures contract. It says a futures contract, technically called a reserves future contract, is a legally binding minimal salary deal signed by the free agent at the end of the regular season. So at the end of whatever season that was played that they were involved in whatever capacity, they agreed to another one for the most part. And it guarantees the player a roster spot for the start of the following league year.
Yeah.
So it's no, after March, it's not legally binding for either the player or the team.
Yeah.
So in between December or whenever they signed it, December, January, whenever the season was over, in between that point and March is the only binding that they have between the two. So as of now, each one of those entities, whether it be the player or the team, cut without problem right now.
Absolutely. It's just to say, hey, look, we kind of appreciated what you did in practice last year. We'd like to continue your development in the following year, and we don't want you to go and, we don't want to cut you, and we also don't want you to go sign with another team. So come back to the team. We'll run it through again and see whether you're something that we want to continue developing. And if they do, again, odds are likely practice squad.
More importantly, though, kids, it means for the player, you get a check coming every week. You get a check coming every week in between when you sign this thing and in March. And you may continue to get it in March if you keep coming.
You're darn right.
Yeah. It's better than not having a contract.
Mm-hmm.
This is the official counter, by the way.
It's the lowest form of a contract, I believe, too.
It's what?
It's the lowest form of a contract.
Yeah, it would be, because again, we are talking about, generally we're talking about practice squad bodies that they're going to determine, that they have determined that they see a little something in, and they want to keep them attached to the team, give you a little something to stave you off over the course of the next couple of months, and bring you back into practice, into training camp and see, what you're all about and whether you can shake,
Yeah,
so whether you rock with the news team.
Yeah, you ever sat around and gandered whether who's the most worried person on the roster whenever they signing guys and getting free agents from here and there? It's those cats. Yeah. When's that check gonna stop?
Yeah, the back end of the roster, no guarantees there, and that's what we're talking about. Naj, is that Tory Taylor, being that he's Australian, Aussie, I think. He's an international player, so they have a roster exemption for international players. So instead of him counting as one spot on the 90, he doesn't count. So they get to have 91 players with him being that 91st.
It's funny.
It allows for an extra roster spot, basically, that exemption.
It's a funny little loophole that the Bears have figured out. And, you got to love when GMs do stuff like this. And this started a little while ago, and I can't remember the brother's name, but there was an offensive lineman from Africa, and he was like 6'8", and I was like, man, I just looked at this guy's measurables, and they're crazy. I wonder if he'll ever get the chance to compete at left tackle. I remember us talking about this for a minute on this show, but he never got out there. No big deal. He eventually wound up getting released, and off we go, and they used to do that same thing with him. They used to sort of bench him and add an extra person in his place, although he still got to practice and do his thing. So they kind of tested the waters with that particular guy. Now they've figured it out, and they're applying it with Tory Taylor. So works. Allows us to sneak an extra body on the team.
They can
they ain't signing the kids.
You know what? They could sign. Real talk. Yeah, they could sign.
Who are you going to pay to take your roster spot, though?
I don't care.
No, who's he gonna pay to do the work? Who's he gonna pay to go out there and do the work?
I'll real talk. I'll pay my kid. This way, the money comes back to the family double. You see what I'm saying?
So
Real
you
talk,
put your
though, just,
the son as your proxy.
he's my proxy. That's exactly what I would walk around calling him too, and he would hate it. But it would be awesome. No, don't worry. No, I ain't doing no laps today, Coach.
What up, Ron
My proxy
Renarski?
will.
My proxy's here.
My proxy will take care of it.
Hey, shout
Meanwhile,
out,
my kid cussing me out. Dad.
Ron just renewed his membership, man. Thank you so much.
Hey,
sir.
Ron Winarski.
Ron.
Thank you
Shout
so
out
much.
to you, man. Appreciate that.
But yeah, man. Before I get into the first thing we need to talk about, shout out to those guys that's trying to maintain a roster spot, and with all this flurry of different moves that they kind of keep. I think there's a lot of fondness from regular position coaches all the way up to Ryan Poles, and all the guys in between. In between, there's some fondness that comes with coming to work every day and making sure seeing people that's always there for whatever you ask them to do. It might not be a guy that's going to be significant on the 53 at any point in time, but the things that go on behind the scenes on the practice field, you need guys to make sure all that stuff is executed. And you got guys coming in there, unsung heroes every week that's willing to take all the BS that comes with it. You know what I mean? So you basically crash dummy for the most part, and that's just putting a little slander on it. But that's commendable, very commendable. If you've made it to the most elite of elite football players on the planet, and if you can at least make it to that part where you can get to a futures or reserve part on a practice squad, you've done good work. You're gonna make some money too. It's about what you do with it after that.
Yes, indeed. That's
But,
how she looks.
That was not funny, but I don't know what the word is, kids. But when UDFA players who may have had a injury history, get UDFA, brought in, and they try to, make the team, but then they officially retire, like after the first day of camp or after rookie camp, because it's like their bodies are like, nah, so they're like, yeah, we're done. And they actually got to hang up the cleats. And
Yeah,
while, we as fans are like, yeah, kid didn't make it, whatevs. That kid's never going to play football again.
Yeah, but he just made in these cases, you might have made a quick 30, 40, 50 grand, like whatever the number really is I'm thinking it's probably closer to about 15 grand, but that's a good hit for a kid
so
to start out.
15 grand, more than some of his teammates got that didn't make it that far.
You're damn straight, or you're from last year, your teammate who didn't quite make it to the draft,
right? Didn't even get to the combine or whatever.
It's so much deeper than the dollar amount, man. It's like something somebody's been dreaming about their entire lives. It's deep, man. It's like once you get there, it's like you didn't get there because now you got to fight for every scrap. You know what I mean? And it becomes a business at that point. Now you become a business. You as an individual become a business. And it's probably hard. It's probably hard with the correlation there. You know what I mean? It's been a dream of yours, but then you get to that point and the dream becomes reality and you realize how much business is involved in. And so
I would like to hope, you know what I mean? No, man, I would like to hope that isn't what's causing some of these players to hang up their cleats. You know what I mean? Like a
large part, bro.
I hope it's not. I truly do hope it's injury. I would hope that the fear of it being a business, especially in the early phases, right? I would hope that portion is stuff that you can just sort of live with and rock with. If it's injury, 100%, like, if you feel like you're going through these motions, you're hurt, it's going to be hurt moving forward, and you might not even make the roster. Kiss the girl, grab the money, and run. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I see it.
Isn't this generation more adept with the business aspects because NIL?
Yeah, that's another way of looking at it.
The NIL has changed the landscape of college football because there's so many transfers. The portal. So instead of players being at one school, university for, 3-5 years. Now you're here, now you're there, now they're offering more there. So the business side of the sport kicks in like at high school nowadays.
What's funny about it, Trips, is of course you guys, y'all deal with me every damn week. And of course my mind is more slanted towards how the player thinks and feels. Of course, I'm probably 80% that, on a good day, it's probably about 60-40 where I start thinking more about how administrative things work, how the coach, the GM, and all that kind of shit functions. But you looking at it from a player standpoint, like the work put in and the juice is squeezed out of the work sometimes is even if it's something you love, is the juice might not be worth it. You know what I mean? It's just that a lot of times, man. You know what I mean? How much juice are you squeezing out? You got guys that, are just starting families, getting ready to get married. They got a plan. Their girls got this big wedding in mind. It's gonna cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you getting 15 to 30,000 a week, maybe. And taxes probably trimming some of that, and you trying to stack a little bread together. You want to give her what she wants. And so it gets real life, real deal situation. So you're trying to do whatever they ask you to do and trying to keep your value to that team and trying to still love the game at the same time. So that's why I said it's kind of hard to correlate, business and what you love, because I can imagine that's kind of difficult, man.
Like it is, but the realities of this. It's just life, right? Like when it comes to the stuff that you love, sometimes the business aspect ruins it altogether. Like, I have to sort of agree with where your headspace is on this, Nomad. But at the same time, just given the example you were just looking at, if your girl wants $100,000 worth of wedding and you're making 15 grand a month, you ain't quitting for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to pay for this wedding otherwise? You might want to play some football. You might want to stick around at least to get till you get to that, 2-month situation with 100 girls in the bank and the wedding's covered, and maybe you want to make a different decision. And that's just common. That's just common sense, because the rest of the world making 15 to 30K a week. You see what Lord Crimson is saying.
I mean, you got. I'm glad he mentioned that, because say somebody made $1 million this year.
Yeah,
you're going about 30% of that, maybe 40% of that might get cut. You know what I'm saying?
If you're not savvy, yes.
Well, hold on.
I'm agreeing with you.
We ain't got to get into financial dealings and shit. But I'm just talking about the guy that's making the 15 and 30K a week. That guy's, expenses, whether it be, when the tax man gets done with it, his home expenses, he might be moving from one city to the next, and I don't know who's paying for that tab. When he gets cut or released from a team, he's got to arrange moving from here to there and all kinds of stuff, man. You got stuff inside the house there's 15, 30K. I can imagine a week can go by fast in this economy. Really fast, especially with a lifestyle like that.
Well, I gotta lean towards Crimson on this one, because you know what I mean. I am not making 15 to 30K a week, truth be told.
And you're not getting kicked around the NFL. You might not.
I'm just saying I ain't making that.
One week and freaking.
That's what you need next week. But that's what you need 15 to 30K a week for. Like, if you have to do something like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can technically afford to do so with that type of income. Yeah, you lose some to the tax man, but let's call it 15. You lose 5K to the tax man. Let's say a third of it, and you're rolling with 10K a week. That's enough money to call AMJ Movers or United.
I don't disagree with Crimson, man. I
2 men in a truck.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just trying to layer the conversation so that we see it at least through the minds of a young NFL player.
No,
Well, I put it like this: hey, young buck, if she wants $100,000 wedding and she know what you make, don't marry her.
I'm so well. Let's triple down on what you're saying, Triple R. I don't have any understanding as to why anybody needs $100,000 wedding. I don't know what that's about. Sorry, babe.
High maintenance.
Like, I'm sorry. I don't know what kind of expectation.
Hey, you get what you pay for in this.
I guess so. And you're about to get taken
high maintenance when your ass got it. She's gonna be high maintenance throughout.
Just what I'm trying to tell you. You're about to get taken for way more than that $100K wedding. You're setting yourself up for a very serious situation. But outside of that, let's be just a little bit realistic on this. I don't think this is. I hope, as I was saying, I hope it's not, just fear of having to business as a part of your football existence, because the fact is you're going to leave football and be thrust directly into business for the rest of your life. Right. So that's the flip side of all that.
As a person that's used to dealing with
100K
older teens and 20-year-olds, thick-headed, bro. That's all I can tell you.
Oh, that's all that's walking around the building here. So I hear that. I definitely bump into that thick-headed thing all the time. I'm just saying, the reality is, again, you give up that 15K a week, you're moving into, $5K a month for the rest of your life, $7K a month for the rest of your life. Like it's a different. The two things are far cries from each other. And in one case, you're doing something that you really enjoy doing versus something you probably don't really enjoy doing.
I think the most important thing
that you got to do to turn the lights on. You're damn straight.
That was what was our defensive lineman Goldman that retired? Because he really didn't love the game. Then he was like, "Oh shit, I'm broke." And then he had to come back, to Atlanta, or wasn't it him? Mm-hmm. Not Oscar Goldman, but Eddie Goldman.
Eddie Goldman. Yeah.
Hey man, do you guys remember the Eagles player that I highlighted on the show probably a month or two ago that ended up unalived and homeless in the homeless encampment in LA?
Yeah.
You remember that conversation? I saw the full video. I didn't want to see it. It was out there, but I did not see it because I didn't want to see it. But when I saw that video, it reminded me of something. It reminds me of the physicality that it takes to play the game and what that physicality can do to you. And I'm talking about the guys on the lower rung of the roster probably take the brunt of it because they are asked to, you better be extra while you're in practice and while we're in camp or whatever situation we're in when we're asking you to be physical. You better be way more physical than we're asking you to be if you want to keep this check coming in. And that kind of beating, especially with the guys in the trenches. And I'm not saying that nobody else on the team takes a beating, but those guys clang heads every single play. Every single play they're getting off the ball and they clanging heads. When I saw that film, it reminded me that there's really, they don't pay you enough for what the residual might be later on. And when I saw that man screaming and hollering while people were kicking the dog shit out of him, he just was so gone.
See?
He was just screaming like a baby, like he's a big man. And he was just in fetal, just screaming. And I knew then and there, the game that I love can have that consequence to it. And for the people that think, oh, you getting paid a lot of money to do, no, ain't no amount of money. They don't get paid enough. They don't. No, I'm talking about mostly the guys on the lower rung of the roster. They better up their ante.
And that's why I'm saying, if that's the reason why you decided to grab that check and be out, kiss the girl. You know what I mean? Like I'm fully with you. Do what you need to do to make the proper decisions for you and your health. I'm fully with that. Right? Like those are, especially when it's like, man, I'm probably Squirrel White. He may have felt, you know what? I'm up against some really good wide receiver competition. I'm not going to beat these guys out. You know what? I'm hurt. Let me get this money and just go about my business. I can't argue with that for a second, man. Right? Like, he's not an offensive. He's not a lineman. He might not have got banged up quite as frequently as everybody else, but you never know. You're traveling at 4.28 speed. You trip. It ain't, that ain't cool. You know what I mean? That
Right.
could hurt a lot.
Now you're running a 4.5 and you ain't worth nothing to nobody.
$1,000,000,000%.
Hey, Crimson said $750,000 ain't enough. Not when you see the residual, man. And
yeah,
you just don't. $750,000 ain't shit.
No, I'm with it, man.
Don't tell that to Chase Claypool.
Not for human life and human health, man.
He's still trying to get back in the.
Yeah, you saw that, right?
Mapletron. Yeah, I did see it, man. He's trying to go to Green Bay now.
Yeah, he tried to walk on or some shit.
Just to piss us off. It's all good. They don't mean it.
Well, they picked up Damian Martinez too, man. Pissed me off.
Oh no,
running back.
Yeah, that's his back. That was his homeboy from last year.
That pisses me off. But
yeah,
he might get caught out there. Depends on how this camp goes. We'll see. But hey, one of you guys got cut, Trips. I know you want to speak to Hanky because I know that's one of your favorites.
Wasn't my favorite.
Okay.
Mr. Howdy. Because of that. But Deion Hankins, the running back, he got hurt like early in camp. And then he was done for the year. So there was really nothing to get excited about with him.
The question is, Trips, I want to ask you, and you two kids, and just judgment. Do you think it's more of we got a new running backs coach that had his hands on a running back that was in Miami? Or do you think it's more of, okay, we've had him here for a whole year rehab for the most part, and we think we can get better? What you think is which one of those two you think it might be?
I think he was hurt.
Yeah, we don't know that he's recovered. I mean, because I don't know what the injury was. I don't remember offhand, but it was a season-ending injury that happened early. And he was a UDFA. He was a big bruiser kind of runner, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And so, especially with the changeover in Stoodsville, running back coach coming up from Miami, and rumor was that he pounded the table for UDFA Coleman Bennett, as well as bringing in free agent Salvon Ahmed, who was with him in Miami. So, that changeover right there is putting pressure on Roshan Johnson, Britton Brown, and I just don't think Deion Hankins had a role, even if he was healthy, for what Ben Johnson wants to do. Just looking at the difference in, Hankins, Bennett, and Ahmed. Bennett's not a speed burner, but he's very nimble and breaks tackles, and he can do, I think, that Hankins role better than what Hankins envisioned they had.
No, he wasn't there. He wasn't.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Ooh, what?
I think he was.
No, man. He's been in Detroit too long, man.
Who was where?
I think he was.
Who?
When do you know?
Don't let him sidetrack. You just answer that question. Don't worry about it.
It's a good question. Cornelius is asking what when was Ben Johnson in Miami when Salvon Ahmed was there? I have a feeling.
I think we discovered that it was Ben Johnson left, I think, in 19, and Ahmed came in 20.
Yeah, okay. So then they just
missed
each other, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Either way, I think it's as simple as basically. To me, I'm going to assume that Deion Hankins is hurt, and the reason that I assume that is because Salvon Ahmed costs money, right? You're going to bring him in as a free agent. You're actually going to pay this guy more than you're going to pay, a futures contract guy. So
when you got a tough salary situation going on to begin with,
you know what I'm saying? Like that's exactly where my headspace is. Yeah, he's a good he's a good running back. He's a solid running back, but if you can save a couple of bucks and get the same production out of the guys you have, you're not going to spend the money.
All right, now running back Deion Hankins suffered season-ending shoulder and quadriceps injuries during August 2025 preseason game against Buffalo Bills.
Oh, that was last year. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so the Bears ultimately waived him in May 2026 without an injury designation, making him a free agent. So he's healthy, I guess, enough to, be a free agent to try out for other teams, but he's gone from here.
I think it's a little combination of both. I think it's a combination of they thought they can get better, and also there might be some injury concerns too. I think it's a little bit of both of those. And quite frankly, I do think they got better. I mean, just even if it's just for the time being, I think he's a better running back than Hankins is.
So what I'll say real quick is like they're night and day. They're not the same shit.
No,
mind you. But Cole Bennett is closer to what Deion Hankins might be. You know what I'm saying? So I think that they got their UDFA guy who can do similar things as well as a speedier guy. So they've got two backs that can do different things, and they're now trying to figure out who fits. This guy's injured. Okay, well, we'll let him slide. I have a strange feeling Cole Bennett is also going to bump off a certain Mr. Johnson and maybe a Mr. Brown as well.
Deuces.
Hey, kids, I'm going to ask you a question. And since we're talking about the running back room and the running game, remember, I think I said this sometime mid or early before the season started. I think that Ben Johnson wants to attack with his offensive line. He wants to use the offensive line kind of as a weapon. You remember us having that conversation? Trips, you remember any of that?
Mm-hmm.
You know who else said the same thing? That's been close to the team? Terran Armstead in that interview with Fox I was telling y'all about a few days ago. Said the exact same thing. He's using the offensive line as a weapon. And so he's got multiple players on that offensive line that you can use offensively, like say a Darnell Wright, for instance, Jonah Jackson, for that matter, which is why you saw such a heavy run attack on the right side. We all called that before the season even start, and we call it the right side. I put a short out to that effect, and to hear it confirmed by Terran Armstead just kind of let me know that what we were talking about was right, because it's what I saw on film. Offensively, why Detroit was dominant and putting up 40 burgers on people, 30 and 35 points a game, is because he used that offensive line as a weapon. He put them in attack mode. And so they wasn't worried so much about what your defense can do to them. They were more worried about what can we do to this defense. Get out there on them early, get out there on them fast, and give this running back a chance to get to the lane.
Well, that's super helpful. It leads us to somewhere else, man. But I'm gonna avoid going down the road I'd really love to go down right now, because we'll keep things the way they are. But I have a feeling that after a certain somebody sent me some film to watch, they're gonna do some special things in the backfield. I think they have the ability to do some really, really interesting stuff, and not all of it's going to really rely on that offensive line. Hopefully, we get to see
everything will be predicated off of that.
Well, you without question, the right side of the line when it comes to running the football is a very dangerous thing. And we got to watch that all the time last season. The question is really now, can we mimic that same activity on the left? What we can say is that Theo's pretty decent on the run, but who knows if he's going to be playing on the left at all.
First, we got to settle it, kids. We got to get that.
I know.
Camp is going to do that. And, whatever has to happen beyond camp, it'll happen. But settling that is going to be the first thing to do. We know what we have on the right side. We just got to get it settled on the other side, and you got to give that some time.
And that's sort of where my headspace is, right? So I'm less focused on them leading with that power run capability, using that offensive line on the left, on the right, all day long. You know what's happening. But I am very interested on them being extremely dynamic with the run, and man, I'm starting to understand there's clearly a completely different aspect to what the Bears run game is going to look like this year that I'm not sure if we even touched on this at all, but the amount of time Zavion Thomas may be spending in this backfield might be of interest to everybody.
It's about how well they execute the plays given. First of all, that's probably going to be some of the first few plays that he runs. Is some of that stuff that they're more comfortable with until he gets the route tree down and whatever the game.
Hold on before we get into it.
Need that
because hold on, kids. No. We're coming into a midway conversation when Kez brought up Zavion Thomas. Now let me introduce this.
Please.
Zavion Thomas, 3rd round pick. Many we like, oh, why did we draft him there? He could have been a lot later. But I didn't really pay attention to him until after we drafted him, but I paid attention to him before, because looking at possible kick returners, gadget guys that Ben Johnson would be interested in, it was like, Barry and Brown looks interesting down there at LSU. But then looking at LSU film, it's like, damn, that's Zavion Thomas. He's fast. He's all over the place. And then we drafted Thomas. So I looked more into him and it's like, man, and my sight and my vision of what I envision Ben Johnson envisioning, if you follow that, is looking at Zavion Thomas, not only his LSU film, because he was only there for a year and his quarterbacks were shit. Before transferring to LSU, he was at Mississippi State for a year, and he was like their all-purpose guy. He was their dude, the go-to guy on offense. And I even found some other video from his high school days where he was like a running back. He was their Wildcat quarterback, and he was just clearly the best player on the field.
Bunch of Wildcat quarterback snaps on there.
You know what I mean? So seeing all that, it's like, he's more than just a guy with speed. He looks to me like a ascending talent, still moldable, who has the home run speed, the juice, if you will, who has the toughness, who has the hands, because he, makes his, and I'll let kids and all Matt get into more of those breakdowns, but he's utilized as a running back, as a wide receiver in all of the different roles, slot on both outsides. He returns kicks and punts with juice. He's able to be a more, I believe, dynamic and natural running back than a DJ Moore was when Ben Johnson had him in the backfield.
Different thing.
He can catch out of the backfield. He is a 4.28 Nodge, 4.28 40. That's correct, Nodge burner. And I think Ben Johnson just has plans for him. And I think Zavion is the type of kid and talent who is about to embrace it, and we ain't ready. All right. That's the introduction. I'm higher on Zavion than I was on, hopefully I was like, oh shit, Valus is about to be V12, the JJ. So it's like, okay, we got another fast dude with Tyler Scott. See what he can do. Special teams late in the year gone. But so seeing this Zavion Thomas, I'm excited. Okay,
let's talk about that, man.
Wait a minute.
Go ahead. Sorry, no man.
Before you go, I gotta say something. because Trips started off that conversation with, people that were projecting him here, projecting you could have got him here, you could have got him there, you could have got him. It's to me, it's the epitome. This is why I don't give too much F's about mock drafts or people counting on me to tell them where somebody might get picked up at, because to me it's the height of narcissism, man. It's like I know people put a lot of work in when it comes to these mock drafts and information gathering when it comes to it, but then when you bold enough to say, oh, the Bears could have got him later, that means you think that you know exactly what it feels like to be sitting in an NFL draft room, and none of us do. Not a one MFer in this Bears conversation piece. None of us. But you bold enough to tell the world that the Bears could have got him later.
I'm gonna ask you something. I'm going to challenge this. I'm going to challenge this.
Irritating, man.
I have to challenge this because I'm going to use the example that Trip just used, and we're going to have a quick conversation about him and then get the hell off him because I hate talking about it. So the conversation piece is Velus Jones. Velus Jones is projected as a 7th round pick. They selected him way before that. Before that.
Who's doing the projections?
Scouts.
Scouts from where?
From all over the country.
What I mean, are they NFL scouts or are they just people on the
You think it was me? It wasn't me. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are clearly
these are what I'm trying to get at is
what I'm trying to say is they were NFL scouts
on the internet versus
No, I'm not. These are
people on the internet.
No, they're not. People on the internet, I'm just saying, it wasn't like Twitter heads that went to watch Velus Jones and decided he was a 7th round pick. These are actual
Velus. Let's talk about Zavion.
Let me run this little comparison first, and then we'll get back to Zavion. Point being, highly caliber NFL scouts looked at this particular talent and said, you know what? He's a solid talent, but he'll probably fall in the 7th round. Ryan Poles decided to jump up and select him much earlier. And it never worked out, which goes to sort of show sometimes these projections are right.
Man, dude, it makes no difference one way or the other.
Sometimes they're right. Here's where we move over.
He should have got drafted in the 7th round. This is just a someone. They're not sitting in an NFL draft.
You're right.
With coaches that are telling you, with coaches that are telling you, hey, I like this guy, and we're going to point the finger at Ryan Poles, and it's for no good reason. I'm guaranteeing you that wasn't Ryan Poles' idea. That was the coach's thought. And he went and did what the coaches asked him to do. And so wherever people projected a player, whether it's Velus Jones, whether it's Zavion Thomas now, is really irrelevant, because guess what? The Bears thought that he was more valuable right here, right now. And they did that shit.
And they did it, and it was probably a mistake. Here's where things look.
I don't know how
we have to take. Well, because he couldn't catch a football. Here's where things look different. If we now slide Zavion Thomas into the conversation, and the conversation is framed similarly, the question is then, who made the selection sort of right along where you were? Like, was it that coach? We had a defensive head coach really versus an offensive head coach in this scenario. In this scenario, when we look at the Zavion Thomas film, and this is why we're having this conversation, you can see, like, I can see 7 to 15 different ways that Ben Johnson can utilize this player. And it's crazy. Like, it's crazy to look at, when they're saying he's rocking in his chair, thinking about how he can use it. I'm like, I can literally see the wheels in motion from Canada. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can see what he's thinking.
So
wait a minute.
What you're saying is you can have more confidence in the coach than you do the draft pick.
I have more confidence in Ben Johnson in this scenario if he's the impetus of the selection, because I understand.
He's the catalyst.
You know what I mean? I understand how Zavion Thomas could be used in this offense.
multiple ways
versus the other example, right? Like this is where things get really cool and really interesting. One of the simple plays that I watched, and I guarantee we are going to see this play, like a knock on wood right now. Guarantee
motion out of the slot into the backfield, get a toss, and he throws it down the field. Right.
So like that's not the one I'm about to make an example of.
That's
but
another one.
We're going to see that one 150 times. Like no question. The one that I think we're going to see, they just have them lined up on like they just have them lined up out wide at the goal line. And my boy full sprints in motion. And the wide receiver, and the corner has to follow him. Corner follows him. He stops on the dime and goes back out.
Jerk route.
Touchdown. I don't know how you stop that with 4.28 speed, Doc. I don't know how you stop that.
That's why that's you can't buy that at Walmart.
You know what I'm saying? Like you can't buy that at Walmart.
Fancy for that shit.
You can't buy that shit at Walmart. Like you nailed it. So like this is me. I'm watching his tape and I'm going, damn, touchdown in that scenario. This is a quick and dirty situation getting in the end zone. If you're having problems, I don't know who you got to stop that 4.28 speed coming back after stopping on a dime. Good luck. Plus you got all the other players like. Plus, we got a roster. You know what I mean? We got a roster of players who can do other stuff. This could be a reverse. It could be that back into the backfield from the slot that we're talking about. There's so many different ways to spin this. This can just be a straight up drag route with 4.28 speed. All of the above takes your onus off of Luther Burden, Colston Loveland, Cole Kmet, Rome Odunze. You know what I'm saying? Like now you got to worry
Walker,
about
Sam Roush.
I remember trying to talk you guys into the jitterbug receiver that can help this guy in this offense. And I remember going through some of the players that we had in the draft, some of these little, and I kept saying that the little quicker guys are the better players, receivers in this draft, and most of us, naturally we go looking for that big physical receiver that can run, that can be really, really fast. And that's naturally what we look for.
Bryce Lance.
Yeah. Everybody's looking for that guy. But also that jitterbug, when you already have pieces that can really do damage on the edges, that guy in the middle that can really open up the middle of the field, when you have damage producing tight ends as well, you got all of that to worry about. Ben Johnson just set himself up for so much success with this player. And I'm so happy about it. If they drafted him first, I wouldn't give no F's about it because I don't care. I just don't care where you get drafted. It's about whether or not we got the piece. To me, I don't get caught up in all that bullshit. I just don't.
He came in, and the first question he asked Coach Hightower, special teams coach, what I'm paraphrasing. What do most rookies mistakes do they make, or what does a rookie need to do to succeed? But it was something to the effect, now that I can't remember it at all, of he wants to be great. Yeah. And so he came in, trying to figure out how to do that. And not only in those red zone situations on the goal line, not only on kickoffs or punt returns does he bring in that juice, but when Caleb, who now has the official license for Iceman for football, George Gervin keeping the Iceman for basketball, and everybody's happy. So now when Caleb is doing his Iceman thing and having to scramble left to right, you can't diagnose which way he's going because he don't know which way he's going. It depends on the pressure. So whichever way he goes, now not only do you get the big tight ends to release, but now if you get Zavion on Thomas on the field, doing a quarterback scramble drill, going back this way, he's a hands catcher and he's a weapon. Just get the ball to him. He's gonna get himself open and he's gonna make a play. This is his history. This is what he does. This is what I saw on the tape, kids. Did you see anything different on there on the tape? Did you see anything else that is like, okay, I see the excitement here, damn it?
No, and that's why I kind of had to bring us into this world, because just the way that Ben can utilize this player. At first, I really thought, again, he can fit into that Amon-Ra St. Brown mold. It's something different than that, though, right? Like it's he can do that stuff, but it's something else. They can throw him in. He's taken for a wide receiver. He's taken a lot of running back snaps, y'all, and it's not like, oh, this is a gimmick. We're throwing DJ back there once in a blue moon. He took a lot of running back snaps as in high school and at the college ranks. He's
the same side as A-Chain from Miami Dolphins,
right? So like he can do the running back thing. So maybe you don't go and get another running back at all. You
St.
have
Brown's
your
a bad comp, kids.
Say what?
St. Brown's a bad comp.
He's
got the size.
It's not. Whoa. Hold on a second. It's not that I'm comping him to St. Brown. It's that Ben Johnson wants to utilize the slot receiver in the same manner as he did with St. Brown.
Yes,
they're not the same. You know what I mean? You're right. It is a bad comp, but most definitely, we're gonna see that slot receiver used to clear out
the role.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the role, the St. Brown role. The player is completely different, y'all. No question. This player is, in my opinion, he's a hybrid running back wide receiver in truth, right? Like DJ kind of smelt the part. Bayless might have looked the part a little bit sometimes. Even Cordero Patterson might have maybe sort of looked the part. No, this guy actually is that.
I think Jay Grizz is right. He's more like a Jameson Williams comp.
Well, don't they put Jameson mostly deep routes?
I don't think he is Jameson. Like the only comparison that there's two areas where I'd say he's Jameson Williams, and that is deep route speed capability.
Right.
That's why they drafted Jameson was because of that.
They don't really use him the way that I think that we're going to use Zavion. I think we're going to use Zavion.
Remember, was it Marvin Harris, Percy Harrison,
Percy Harvin.
Percy Harvin
is a decent comp. Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
he was
Percy
kind of
Harvin is
close,
close
all over the field, very gadget-like, very quick, very fast, very reliable.
It's going to be like, y'all, it's going to be very interesting when you start to see what they do, because it's going to put defenses in peril. Like it is. If you've lined up and you've got your best guy on Luther Burden and Colston Loveland is covered, and oh shit, all of a sudden the wideout came into the backfield and it's a running play. It was 3 wide before. This is not a running play formation at all. You know what I mean? You just and you pulled the corner into the formation.
Let me tell you how this whole conversation gets tricky. And I'm going to give you a little bit of dynamic of how down and distance makes a difference. Let's just say the Bears are on 3rd and 12 or something. Nobody cares if Zavion Thomas is in the game. They don't care if it's Luther Burden. They don't care who's out there, because you know what? They know the Bears are throwing the ball.
It's passing. They're passing the football. You damn straight.
Where it comes in handy is when Zavion Thomas gets up to speed and he can play the whole gamut of plays in the playbook, and they can use him on early downs, 1st and 2nd down, when it doesn't really it's not gotta have it down, so they can implement him and make him a threat. So when it does come to that 3rd and 12, Zavion Thomas is on the field. See the difference it makes? And so when we just tried him out there on 3rd down and 12, and he doesn't know the full playbook, everybody knows what he wants to do.
Well, the look at how Ben Johnson and the staff have implemented the rookies into the starting lineup, into the fold, if you will, into the field. Manangai, Colston Loveland, Burden got a little late start because he was a little dinged up. But all of the rookies are brought up to speed. They're given what they can handle. Even, Ozzie taking over the left tackle spot didn't happen, right away. So it seems as though that Zavion is the type of player.
It's Zavion trips. Just for the shorts, because
What did I say?
Zavion.
What'd you say?
Zavion.
Oh,
S versus Z.
Yeah.
I think I was looking at Salvon Ahmed up there. I just looked at it. Yeah, there you go. Zavion Thomas. ZT. But he has we know he has the skill set to do these things in the different positions because he has a history of doing them. And he has the intelligence and that skill set. So, I think I said this before, but Ben Johnson is going to be like, hey, Mr. Thomas, here's 10 plays out of this formation. This play, you're going this way, whatever the variations are. It's like, are you up to speed on that? All right, here's 10 more plays. So by the time we get to the season and now it's 3rd and 11 or 3rd and 12 and Zavion's on the field, the defenses may not fear him, but they are aware of him because they know he's a weapon. And they also are aware of matchups because of if Thomas is lined up as a wide receiver, then he shifts into the backfield. Now that changes the defensive responsibilities. And now it's up to Caleb to figure out who's in the trick bag, you know what I mean? And get the ball to him. And now that's a Ben Johnson, we're going to take advantage of the situation. And now you get to pay attention to Thomas. Now you got to pay attention to Rome as long as he's catching the ball. You got to pay attention to Burton. You got to pay attention to every wide receiver, every tight end, and now every running back because we got some damn weapons on this Bears team.
You know what? Well, my mind is that it's kind of painting a picture of, to me, what I see as reality. And I don't know. And it's early in the season. I think he's a novelty player because he's trying to get up to speed, just like Luther was.
Wait for me on this one. So go ahead. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Just like Luther was last year, we expected a lot out of him, and we were just like, okay, Luther did get nicked up at some point. I can't remember when.
He got a hammy, I think.
I think he got a concussion a little bit later while he was up to speed. It took some time for Luther to gain the confidence of the coaches and knowing that he knew the playbook and knew what he was supposed to do in every situation. And I think it's going to be the same for Zavion, which is why I say he's going to be kind of a novelty piece early in the season until he gets where he needs to be. It's going to take pretty much half the season, probably a lot of the season, for him to get out there and get those opportunities. That's really what I'm trying to get at.
So I'm going to say a couple of things. So the first thing I'm going to say is that the chat's cluing into who he looks, smells, and feels more like. And it ain't Amon-Ra St. Brown, although he will take on some of that role.
It ain't Williams.
It's not Jameson Williams either. It's actually Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, it's straight up and down, just with the opposite role. Like, his main role is wide receiver, but he will be in the backfield doing that too. So just just opposite, as opposed to RBWRs on his sleeve. That's it. Now, to really speak to what you're speaking to, if they can get what they need out of this young player early in the season, it changes the dynamic of the season very quickly, very quickly. If you can establish this player, not necessarily in the Khalif Raymond spot early, you leave Khalif there, but you can establish him as a speed threat as in the return game. If you can establish him in that respect, once you line him up as a wide receiver, teams will have to say, oh, snap, like he's taking it 50 yards. He's taking it to the house a couple of times. We got to pay attention to this kid's speed. Got to pay it a little bit of attention. And once that is in place, you don't necessarily even need to target him early in the game or early in the season. You can just use him in clear-out capacity Because if he's got you wide open, like if he's got you burnt on a drag or a wheel type route, and you hit him, and you do that a couple of times early in the season, he's instantly a threat.
Okay,
and once that threat's been established now,
let me give you a scenario where he can produce some pain without really knowing the playbook like he's gonna know it halfway through the season or towards the last quarter of the season. Like if you go in there and you put him in at, let's just say they go 5 wide. Caleb is out there alone, nobody in the backfield, and Zavion's out there, right? Now you motion Javion into the backfield. Now you got a 4 wide and a running back behind the quarterback. Think about this. You got 2x2 on one side, 2x2 on each side. So now you're running, let's just imagine a route combination. So now you're running basically 2 out breaking patterns on each side. So you got 2 receivers on this side running out breaking patterns on each side that you have to respect because Caleb can hit either one of them. I don't care who it is. And now you got this running back that's going to wiggle out of the backfield. Whether it's on a run, he just hands it off to him on a draw, and he can get it. He can get it going from there, or he wiggles out of the backfield into a choice route. A choice route is basically you can run basically a curl. You can just stop in the soft spot, curl, get the ball and run up the field, or you can run an actual route in the route tree. It's a choice. He has to be able to see what the defense has available, and that's why they call it a choice. And so you got that option. He can be that pretty early in the game. But if they give him a choice route option, you got to know a little bit. You can't just be out there just running routes and, okay, this is what I think this is. No, you got to know exactly what the defense is presenting, and you got to run your route accordingly. Give the quarterback an opportunity to drop that ball off to the right receiver, and you're the right receiver.
Man, you do something when you got a 3x1, then you want all those 3 2 deep, one that way, clear out that side of the field, have him coming out of the backfield, come out and go to the right. You got that whole side of the field with one dude trying to cover him.
That's part of the beauty. There's one other aspect to this player that is extremely important for us all to understand. So last year, one of the major things, and I got to give a shout out to another player in this conversation. The only guy that I really saw trying to play backyard football last season was Colston Loveland. Seeing him trying to follow where Caleb was at and create space and be open in funky situations. And once Caleb kind of figured that out and saw it, he started to nail Colston Loveland for a lot of plays and a lot of passes. Started to connect with this young man. Zavion Thomas, he's got that backyard capability too. And if you go and you look at some of his tape, you're going to see him following where his quarterbacks might wind up or might be in trouble to become their outlet and that go-to receiver in certain situations, in perilous situations. I can't wait to see him helping Caleb in that regard, especially with his ability to get open, utilizing that speed. Now he's going to have 2 different levels of blanket, plus the running back, 3 different levels of blanket, right? Safety blanket that he didn't necessarily have and or trust last season. So you got your DeAndre Swift coming out of the backfield in that scenario. You've now got Zavion on the far right, all by himself, isolated for instance. You also have Colston Loveland in the middle of the field. So you got a couple of different areas where the play is established, but the play is broken down. Who's going to really be around to back you up and help you, help bail you out of a situation?
You're running a scramble drill.
You're scramble drill all day long. You need to have those players who can run that drill with you all day long. Zavion Thomas is one of them players for sure, and I can't wait to see it.
Hey kid, when I described that play about having a 2x2 and the Zavion Thomas being the third or the fifth receiver, and he motions into the backfield. And basically, you're setting him up to have the middle of the field for him to work with, and giving the quarterback that option. I don't think you understand how dynamic that can be, because for one, the minute he motions into the backfield, it's going to be, when you got 5 wides out there, there's a linebacker running around there somewhere. That's just going to trigger a linebacker. You know it's going to trigger him. But if it triggers a safety, like the strong safety, if the strong safety moves off of his movement, Caleb is at that point now where he's starting to realize that safeties really dictate where he can go with the ball and where he can't. The help from the center is going to help him identify that. He's going to give him a cue, and he's going to know exactly where that ball needs to go. By way of when zavion motions into that backfield, did it trigger that safety to move, or did it not? Did that safety stay still, or did he not? It's an indicator of where the ball needs to go. So you go in attack mode by way of knowledge, of understanding of what this defense is presenting and what this defense can take away and what it cannot. If it moves that safety, you got you something there.
Oh, snap. William buzzing.
Kick returns, punt returns, gunning on special teams.
I just caught this little big ups to William here, man. William buzzing, because you add that Sam Roush, you add that hybrid TEFB into this. Damn. Now you got 4.28 speed with a fullback.
Yeah.
Blocking in front, that's kind of crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the things that this man can do now. Really sorry, Don. Like, Don's in the chat feeling sorry. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry.
One or two of them tight ends could have also been involved in either one of those 2x2s.
You're damn straight. You're damn straight, right? So, like, right. I'm just saying, like, I'm sorry, Don. It's a copycat league. No.
We gonna nip this in the bud right the fuck now. This is not a copycat of the Bears trying to be like the Lions. What's the common denominator that we are comparing here?
Oh,
Ben goddamn Johnson.
That's it. That's all.
And Ben Johnson was the offensive coordinator for the Kitties. So when we refer to those said Kitties and how the pieces and the players were utilized within that offense, the plays run, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's not about the team.
No.
It's about the offense of who now is our head coach. Suck it. So with that said, it's not about, trying to be like the Kitties. It's about what did our head coach, de facto offensive coordinator, do when he was merely the offensive coordinator? How did he utilize pieces, and how was he able to get an offense to score 30, 40, 50 points on the regular, something of which the Kitties ain't done since he left? So I think you should worry about that.
Ouch.
So,
yep.
You know what I mean? So when we look at how the roster now, has been upgraded, and I think we can all clearly, agree to that, position grouping wise, all the way around. There's still questions like who's the left tackle, but other than that, it's pretty solidified. So the ability to have the weapons necessary to do what he wants to do in his football psycho brain, get this man rocking in a chair like, oh Lord, I could line him up there and run him out that way. I could roll him out this way. I could do some play action this way. I could do some halfback passes back to Caleb. I can do screens all over the goddamn field. And all of this is going through his head. And, he's kind of like football autistic, I think. And so, it's him processing. And we about to see some shit, y'all. Remember.
Go ahead.
Luther Burton, year 2. Colston Loveland, who was a corny, I believe, in the chat, pointed out that Colston Loveland, who's always invited to the cookout, he runs routes like a wide receiver as a tight end. We know Cole Kmet, he's does what he does. You know, you look up, he's making a big play. It's like, cool. You know, and then it's just so much that we as Bears fans have not seen from our offenses because we haven't had an offensive mind like Coach Football Psycho Ben Johnson.
Yeah, sure.
And it's something that now that he has different pieces, you know, that he can utilize to his offensive pleasure, it's about to be on.
Hey, Trips, I'm gonna tell you guys a secret, and y'all keep this to the Bears community.
Oh,
Real good secret. Watching the Detroit Lions play when Ben Johnson was there, I watched that offense. I mean, exhaustedly, man. I just watched it, and I was looking for things that would be an indicator. Definitely was movement was one of the things that really stood out, and we talked about that a lot on the show. It was like moving pieces, giving the eye candy out there, and kind of doing the same thing and making the same thing look like the same thing. But here's the secret, and we'll keep this to ourselves. The quarterback is reading it high to low. And so as he's going through his progressions, he's looking at the deep route first, and he's bringing it on down. His eyes are bringing it on down to wherever he has to go, whether it be that the big deep ball, whether it be an intermediate 15-yard route, or whether it be a drop off to St. Brown, which did a lot of work in that 0 to 15-yard radius. A lot of work. He could trust St. Brown. It's one of the things you noticed on tape. And I think Rome is at that space with Rome Odunze. I mean, Caleb is at that space with Rome Odunze. And that's how they read the progression. It's high to low. As a difference, I think Sam Bradford reads it, not Sam Bradford, but Stafford reads it different. I think he goes low to high. Watching his progressions, the differences in those offenses. And I'm telling you guys right now, the way he's teaching Caleb to read it, he's teaching him to think deep. If you see that shot, take it. But don't be obtuse to some of the stuff that we have planned underneath you, which is why we've got all these different pieces so that you can feel comfortable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have to applaud that, dog, because that's that last word you use is like the most important word of the whole show. Comfortability, man. Comfortable. There was a lack of comfort clearly with DJ Moore and with what was going on in the middle of the field last season. And like what I'm going to compare it to is the season before, where he was super hyper comfortable with Keenan Allen in the middle of the field. He would zero in on Keenan and hit Keenan all the time in the middle of the field. Lost that comfortability. Keenan Allen moves on, and he had to sort of build it again. And like I was saying earlier on, he eventually started to find it in Colston Loveland when he realized, oh, snap, this kid's on the field. First of all, he's been hurt, but now he's on the field. Second of all, he's playing backyard football with me. I see him open. I got to start to target him. You add two more shit. And like, sorry, I keep forgetting the TEFB. You know what I mean? I keep forgetting he's going to be in the mix here too in a little bit of a capacity as well. There are some safety blankets that have just been put into place, which should highly increase his comfortability with the middle of the field. So, like, things to note, y'all. 4,000 yards? Bet that shit 2026. I'm saying it loud and proud right now. This is the time. 4,000 yards for sure. The next thing I'm going to say, that completion percentage, that shit's about to increase in a major monster way because of that added comfortability in the middle of the field. It's just a question of him getting some time on task and getting familiar with the new additions to this roster. Well, it'll take a couple of weeks.
Well, here's the thing about not only not the new additions, but the comfortability factor. With Caleb and his receivers, you know, we saw the I think it was Luther Burton. He has a YouTube channel, and so he got a dude follow him around with a camera. And they were out in Southern California. It was Rome, Luther, Jade, and Caleb, doing that thing. And I think the new receiver, Hudson, was out there too, because he's from out that way.
Yeah, he's from
and then I saw a different video of Luther and JP Richardson, running outs and working and stuff. But there are a lot of behind the scenes off season work going on to increase that comfortability factor with Caleb and his receivers, running the routes they need to be running. The wide receivers working on their footwork and all, making sure they're catching them with the hands. And it's just a beautiful thing to watch, develop and progress, because the coaches this week have, had clips coming out from the OTAs of the interviews, and some of the reviews about, Caleb he's more of a master of the offense. He's more comfortable with, what Ben Johnson wants to do. And he's also more comfortable and confident in his receivers because they have been putting in that work. Coach Randall L has been, coaching them up. Ben Johnson spoke specifically on scramble drill practice and work. So this is coming together. We didn't see Roush or Thomas yet because, they're rookies and that whole process. But I'm not one to rush summer because it just got here and I like having like no clothes on. But I can't wait for the football season.
How do we get here?
Yeah,
okay. I see how we got here.
You know how that's spilled out.
Yeah.
It's not about, showing off to other people. It's about having all the fabric all over your body. You want to get that off and let your skin breathe.
If you look at it on its face, and me looking at all that Detroit film and what he was doing with Jared Goff, who's a different quarterback than
completely, yeah.
And you look at the progressions and how Jared Goff's eyes told you what Ben Johnson was telling him to look at first versus some of these other quarterbacks. And you look at Caleb's last season. One thing I know for sure that they don't want to take away from Caleb is that cannon he has of an arm and how he can hit a guy, even during the real progression where he doesn't have to go off script. He went off script and did a lot of those big plays that we did last year, but he can do those within the script with how the progression and patterns are set up with the pieces that we have. He can look high-low and be comfortable dropping that thing off to a playmaker and can zigzag and go make something happen with it. I'm telling you, that's why they drafted the way they drafted this year. They have set it up for Caleb Williams to be comfortable throwing that ball deep and be just as comfortable with dropping that ball off in the intermediate area and making some hay with it. That's what they just did.
You know what, though? Like, if you really now compare those two offensive rosters,
we got a much better roster.
You know what I'm saying? I was about to lay it down, and yeah, we might have a better offensive roster, y'all. I need y'all
no, Mike too.
I'm just being, I'm being just fucking the realist that I am. I need to see the proof. But you line those two rosters up, we might have man, you know what I'm saying? So wow.
That's why I'm just down the way I did, kids, because we're talking about, I just said it. We have two different quarterbacks. Jared Goff, in his wildest wet dream, doesn't have the arm that Caleb has. Number one. Number two is talent-wise, that roster it can't match what we have. It just can't. And they have two powerful pieces with Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown. But the rest of those guys, you got Jameson Williams, who could, get you off. He can take the top off his defense, but they didn't really use him quite the way they used him in the last year or so since Ben's been there. They used him a whole lot more. But I'm telling you guys right now, we have all those pieces and more. Now,
it's again, I don't want to do the exercise here tonight on this show, but feel free line those two rosters up with each other and start to understand that the Bears offensive roster might be the more powerful of the two. And I really can't wait to see this thing in motion in real time come September. Because we've seen what Ben was able to do with Jared Goff. And I'm not gonna knock Jared Goff in any capacity. The first round pick, super solid quarterback. We have a good understanding and idea as to what his shortcomings are. We also have a good understanding of what Caleb's shortcomings are right now. And I think a lot of it had to do with a couple of things. First one was getting your feet set, and he really started to get that in place towards the back half of the season. I know after this off season, he's going to come back with the mentality of getting his feet set and not letting balls sail. Right? That's where my headspace is. The other piece was just basically comfortability in and around the middle of the field, and that's all Ben Johnson did this offseason. If you look at this draft, was just secure the middle of you include Coastal 11 from last year too, but that middle of the field now is rock solid. He should be able to hit a running back, a wide receiver, or two tight ends, and a pass catching fullback. There's really nothing in the middle of the field to be scared of any longer. Plus, you've got Rome with some 50-50 ball, and you've got Luther Burden, who's just a cheat code any way you want to slice it. Dog.
And add this in there, that there were a lot of plays that would have been touchdowns that were not made, because Caleb didn't throw the ball or, didn't have his feet right or got rushed too fast. We in the offense on time, just those plays, just make those plays. That's a huge difference right there. Yeah. That now you don't have to worry about, well, damn, we didn't, get a first down for the first half, or, a first down for the first quarter. These slow starts. Avoid the slow starts. And all of these things that we're talking about, that to a man, either the players or the coaches have verbally spoken about. All of the position groups, needing to be better at drops, at route running, at blocking, at finding the receivers on time. This is something that they are actually addressing, and it's not lip service, because there's nothing from this regime that has just been lip service. So, the progression and the taking the next step, they were good. Now they got to get better. And I think they have gotten better.
Hey, you know what? One of these days, it's hard to show these things. And we got knocked on a 3 hour, well, it was more than a 3 hour show. We did one of the days that we did the draft. I think it was the third day of the draft. We lost all that coverage because we did a interview or something, and we put an overlay on it. But we didn't make nothing from that, because that's the route we chose to go. But I'm going here. Ben Johnson, I watch his body language very carefully, man. I'm borderline body language expert, man. But I'm telling you guys, he showed me some things during that loss that we had to end our run. That he watched that thing, and he was receiving everything as it came. And when we fell short, I seen a look on his face, and the look on his face told me some things. What it told me was ambition, suppression, and suppression didn't work. He saw the light. The worst thing about an ambitious person is him seeing the light, or her seeing the light. Because when they see that light, it's over with. You ain't gonna be able to stop them. You won't be able to stop that person once they see that light. He saw the light. He knows. He knew right then and there what they had to do to get to where they need to get to win that game. And that's why the Bears are a Super Bowl contender. They are a Super Bowl contender. Stop muffling your breath. Stop being reserved about it. The Bears are a Super Bowl contender. I saw in Ben Johnson's eyes exactly what he was thinking. He knew exactly the pieces to put together to get us where we need to get to. You know, you got the rigmarole of what comes in the offseason of either signing players or not, you know, letting some guys go. He knew that that was going to be a part of it, but he also knew that we can get better anyway. And that's the name of the game. You can win some and you can lose some and still get better. That's what we just did. That's what we just did. Ben Johnson knows offensively, if it's up to me and how we can execute on the offensive side of the ball, I'm going to get us the pieces we need. And this offense won't be the problem. He executed his end of the draft. He got the pieces that he wanted. And I think it's gonna play extremely well. Top 3 offense in the league, if not number 1. I'm telling you, it's going to be an explosive offense.
So, Donnie, just for we done invited you on this show a bunch of times, and you keep chickening out. In any event, I said very specifically, offensive roster, not defensive roster. Offensive line and line the two offenses up with each other. And it's going to start to become clearly obvious that Ben Johnson has done some very cool shit with this offense. And come September, you're going to see exactly how that works. And I can see it because I had the opportunity to look at Zavion Thomas's film and see that they, from high school to the end of college, they've moved him all over the field, which means Ben Johnson can move him all over the field. Everybody else can play static and own their position. But you move this one chess piece all over the field, and it's going to throw teams off. It's just how it's going to work. So, you know, I mean, my point being, you've seen how Amon-Ra St. Brown's been used. You've seen how Jahmyr Gibbs being used. Crunch those two guys in together as well as Jameson Williams, because the kid can take it over the top too. And now you have a very interesting additional threat on top of all the other additional threats that we put together over the last 2 years. I'm really interested in what we're going to do on the offense. It should be super cool, right? That's what I'm talking. I'm not talking defense. Like, you can talk about all your defensive players you want. I'm not talking defense. You guys have a great defensive roster. Our defensive roster is what it is. I believe in what we're putting on the defensive side. But again, proof is in the pudding. We're going to have to see what it looks like. But this offense, though, I'm going to be hard-pressed, especially with the guy who's running. Like, give this to any other guy, any other offensive coordinator, offensive head coach, and I might be like, I don't know what they're going to do. This guy, though, holy shit.
Kids, there's so many different ways, both of you guys, man. There's so many different ways that you can make a defense play left-handed. If you can get a beat on what they like and what they don't like, and I'm talking about as far as the defensive scheme goes. There's ways to poke holes in all of those schemes. And there's this. Put points on them.
Yeah.
Well, but here's the thing, though, that Keds alluded to without really alluding to, as did Nomad, but because of the personnel and the versatility of the tight ends, you know, TEFBs as TEWRs, you know, we got WRRBs, you know, as such.
Hybrid.
You know what I mean? So if an opponent's defense, let's say, is really good against stopping a run, okay, let's spread these mofos out and beat them with the pass. You know, if we're facing a team that's got a really hype secondary, all right, guess what? We're going to run it down your ass. So however this offense needs to win, I think that the versatility and the pieces are there now to win. You know, whether it be in a, you know, I tricked you because we had more tight ends and then now we got backs, or it's like, hey, we about to run the ball and you ain't gonna stop us. Or hey, we're about to spread it around the yard and you ain't gonna stop us kind of attitude.
Hey, Trips, if I'm I ain't gonna even bring it up because if I say the name, it's gonna trigger a response. But if I'm a defensive coordinator and my defensive coordinator style is to do this to an offense, and for the most part, it works. I run into a coach that has the firepower offensively to put 21 points on me by the time we get to halftime. And you only have 30 minutes, 21-0. And you only have 30 minutes to cut into the spread and give yourself a chance. You can get it to 30-17 somewhere late third quarter and give yourself a chance or something like that. And guess what? That's called making a defense play left-handed. Now they're predictable when you make them play left-handed. Now you know exactly what they're going to do. And now you have the advantage. They have the advantage no more. That's what we're trying to build here in Chicago. They are trying to put points on the board and get an advantage that way so that they have, when they go into halftime, they know how to design what they want to do defensively and offensively to keep that. And so when you get in that halftime with a 21-point advantage, with a 3-touchdown advantage, you can go into that. I ain't gonna say easily and with a little leisure. No, I'm not gonna say that. But you know exactly how to come out in that second half. And you're gonna use the run game and you're gonna play some ferocious defense with some pressure. And so when the people talking about, okay, do we have enough pass rush and do we have this or do we have? No, that's going to be exactly what they need to really pin them ears back and get after the quarterback and give you the stats that you're looking for. The offense puts up numbers and gives the defense a chance to play downhill.
And this is where Keds the Canuck says he might be wrong. Like, he doesn't say that all the time. That's why I'm talking about myself in third person. I don't say that shit all the time. I might be wrong about the pass rush thing. All right? I have to be the devil's advocate sometimes, and, you know.
Who's the devil?
Me?
Well, Keds is.
No, I'm not saying anybody's the devil. I'm just saying that sometimes I have to state the obvious narrative that's out there for the world to see. The counter narrative is that we'll be just fine. We've added speed. We didn't add pass rush. Well, given what you just said, Nomad, if we're putting up 21 points by halftime, and you've just said you make teams one-dimensional, what is that dimension you're talking about?
They're going to have to either play – they're going to have to play coverage, and that's going to –
No. I'm talking offensive on the other side.
On the
but you're going where I'm going, though. You know what I'm saying?
Offensive side of the ball, they definitely can be a little leisurely and attack you in the run game now and eat up.
Okay, okay. I'll answer my own question. So, like, I'm asking about the other team. The other team's gonna have to put the ball in the sky.
Yeah, they gotta put the ball in the air. I thought you were talking about us.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Like,
it's
cool. It's cool. I know. You know what I mean? I know where you're going. They got to put the ball in the air. And we've upgraded the secondary, the back seven of this team to high heaven, right? Everybody worried about the pass rush. Well, if you got no place to throw to, you can hold the ball all day if you want. We know you're throwing.
They're gonna get you.
You know what I'm saying? Like, eventually, covered sack. And this is where this whole idea makes so much more sense. When you take a step back and you look at it and go, damn, Ben went balls deep with the offense. If he's able to put up them 21 and we've bolstered the back seven, all they got to do is cover those wide receivers, cover those open outlets for a quarterback. And eventually somebody's ass is going to get to the quarterback. This is what the 2026 Chicago Bears should look like as a whole. If this is what it looks like, I'm in. My potential, my projection of about 10 wins might be short-sighted.
They're gonna be extremely explosive. They'll be able to move the chains anytime they want to. They'll be able to run the ball when they want to. You know, this is going to be a very explosive offensive team that's going to put the defense at an advantage. It's the point. And so when you have an explosive offense, the defense gets a chance to play downhill.
And Jay Gris just laid the other piece to it. If it ain't a coverage sack, he's going to cough up a duck. Right? So like it's very interesting. It's very interesting to sort of take a step back and really look at what this mad scientist football cycle has put together, because if it works, oh shit, y'all. Like, I don't know how you stop this. And then imagine you guys, damn, bro. Imagine this team goes deep in the first 12 weeks of football. All right, I'm probably going two weeks too far. But before November, imagine this team is undefeated by the end of November. By trade deadline, if they do decide to go and get a pass rusher, it's game over, y'all. We're gonna go deep in the playoffs if they make that decision to go over and above. They don't necessarily have to at all, though. They might not have to do it at all. The plan is the opposite of what normally the Bears do, and it might be fucking brilliant.
Hey kids, when we start thinking about the actual draft that happened, when it played out, and as it was going, and the selections that we were making, especially offensively, everybody was just like, what the whole F are we doing right now? And that's just the picture we just painted tonight. If that doesn't get your ass excited, I don't know what else to do, because it's X's and O scenario put all together on both sides of the ball, and the chess matches that go on in real time during a game. This is what really happens. This is what really happens. We just laid it out for you. I don't care what channel you go to, what analyst you like, whatever personality you like. You just go back to this show and you go into the conversation we just had about how the Bears plan to attack the NFL and these teams. We just laid it out for you. In explicit terms, why they drafted the pieces that they did. You got a quarterback in his second year in the system, understanding after his third quarter of the season or fourth quarter of the season, he really got good. And you saw the game slow down for that cat. Caleb Williams, the football game really, 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 really slowed down for him. And that's one of the through lines that we're going to talk about a little bit later on of how the game slowed down for him. At that point, Ben Johnson knew that he had the NFL by the scrotum. He did. And he knew that all I need to do is put the pieces around him that makes him feel comfortable. And that's in the intermediate area. So that if your progression is to, your natural thought is to take that ball deep because you have a rocket cannon arm, you take it there. If you see that shot, but I don't want you to count as irrelevant some of these guys underneath you. He put the pieces in place for the Bears to score 21 points on any team in the NFL. I don't care who you are. Any team in the NFL, we can put 21 on you in the first half. That's going to force the defense in the second half to play left-handed, giving the advantage to the defense, helping them play more downhill and getting the numbers that you guys want. You want sacks? You want stop? That's how it happens.
Like, in this scenario, you don't like. This is the scenario where sacks might not really make much of a difference, and that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like BT9, I'm just saying. It took the Zavion Thomas film It took me watching the Zavion Thomas film to actually sort of stop and go, wait a minute. There's a couple of other things that that the football cycle can put into play here. And if he does, I can see there being 21 points early in these football games.
Now,
I can see, right?
What was your reaction when you watched them at first, like, huh, or like, wow, or like, oh, what was your initial gut response?
Again, my gut response was, oh shit, I know what I thought I knew what Ben was gonna do before, but now I know what Ben's gonna do, and it's kind of crazy. It puts defenses in peril. It does with a single player, and you can still motion everybody else around because he's crazy like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's gonna do funky shit. He just is. But with a single player that I've watched from high school to college, plays a wildcat quarterback, line up in the backfield, come back from being lined out into the backfield, from the backfield to the wideout position, run a drag and burn teams, run a wheel route and burn open, leave linebackers in the dust, go straight deep. This kid's a bit of a cheat, but we all know there's a whole bunch of other talent on this team that is going to be utilized. And if you're simply using this kid just as a decoy, this will work. He's that fast. He will be open. They will have to drop a second player to manage his speed in certain situations. Just a drag route. He will. So
you're saying even if he's a decoy on a drag route, he's going to take up two defenders.
This is what I'm saying. So, like, I was just going to use Christian Watson versus Chauncey Gardner-Johnson last year as a for instance, or Jahmyr Gibbs versus TJ Edwards, which is what Don Burr was mentioning in the chat. In both of those situations, you're dealing with a much slower commodity, right? You're putting a much faster player versus a much slower player, and you're just running them across the field to burn that player. Mm-hmm. Once he's open, you nail that guy, he gets some additional yak, and you're laughing. And in both scenarios, the Bears lost out. Well, shit, let's just do that to teams too. We can do that. We can play that game too.
And you know what, kids? It's not even always about what you can do to somebody individually and get him the ball. It's not always about that. Sometimes it's not even sometimes, it's always how you can manipulate the defense to your will. And so if you can get a player or two here or there to move exactly where you want them to move, you just open it up for something somewhere else.
This is what I'm saying. It's going to put defenses in peril, right? Using that speed as a decoy will put defenses in peril.
Well, even if it's not a decoy, I mean, if he's lined up one-on-one and the defense, the cornerback is gonna give him some kind of cushion, and he's gonna be in his back pedal, comeback routes.
Yeah, man, he's up on a dime. He's coming back.
If you look at something I did notice on the tape that I try to envision of what players could be. On one of the LSU plays, Thomas was open at the right hash, but the quarterback didn't throw him the ball until he was going out of bounds. Mm-hmm. If he had got him the ball at any of that time, that's a touchdown. When he put up the mailbox, had the ball gotten deep, that's a touchdown. But it was, underthrown. There were a lot of underthrown balls that were big plays waiting to happen. And it's like, that's what Ben Johnson's seeing too.
You know what, Trips? It's a difference between a college quarterback and an NFL savvy quarterback.
Yeah.
That's what they're describing. It's at the line of scrimmage. When you get up to that line of scrimmage and you know everything, you've seen it all, you've done it all, you know exactly what to expect. You know your personnel, and you know what this defense is presenting. And now you have to find that one player that can put this whole thing in a trick bag. And it's identifying it. It could be Luther Burden, it could be Sam Roush, it could be Colson Loveland, it could be Cole Kmet, it could be DeAndre Swift slipping out of the backfield. But you got the cheat code is knowing exactly where to go with the ball. And that's the difference between a college player that's just going through the progressions that the coach is coaching him. And he's just working off of muscle memory. He's trying to do what the coach is telling him to do. And that's what college football is. It's why you're a college football player. But the professionals, in order to achieve at the highest echelon, you got to know what ain't nothing new in the zoo. And you got to know how to manipulate.
Yeah. Here's the manipulation. You line Thomas up in the backfield, behind the fullback, a tight end / fullback. You run a route to Thomas this way, but it's really a tight end fullback screen on the other side. Just the manipulation because of the threat of giving up a big play, and Thomas brings that to Ben Johnson in this offense, different position, but the same way Gibbs really set off that Detroit offense because of that speed and that weapon. Now it's like, oh shit, we got to account for them. So that opened up, St. Brown, that opened up Williams, that opened up Laporta, for, to do what they needed to do. And that's what Ben Johnson, that's his history. This is his offense as it's progressing. Now he's getting the different tools, with their different skill sets. And you got the quarterback, he's building the offensive line. Now he's got the weapons.
So
let's fucking go.
Yeah. So let the man establish this player in the first 8 weeks of football. Let him establish this player as a threat in the first 8 weeks. I don't know what happens after that, because let me start to embellish now. So Rome Odunze's numbers go up. Colson Loveland's numbers go up. Luther Burden's numbers go up. Because again, they have to worry about the 4.28 guy that is going to get open regardless because of speed in the middle of the field. Everybody's numbers go up. It's wild and crazy to really think about what this madman has in store for the NFL. And it took me a minute to sort of look at it. Initially, again, I thought it was just, drag, jet sweep, reverse type dealy gadget. It's not. He's going to put defenses in peril, which again, if the threat is established, and the threat can be established in a number of different ways, one of them being kick return. If he's getting solid kick returns as well, oh Lord, wait for it.
Hey, wait 1 second. One thing that none of us have mentioned that we did mention early with the roster, but if he makes the team, a Scotty Miller, add that into the mix.
All right, but we talk about that, but we got a couple questions before we get out of here.
Go ahead.
One of them was, I'll start with the last and we'll go on backwards. Anybody that wants to read that can.
Asking again, where we on a confidence scale of having a top 5 run game? He could have impact there, considering DJ had an RB package. This is what I'm saying, y'all. Like, this is a big chunk of what I'm saying. The kid ran the ball just as frequently as he caught the ball, if not maybe more. Like, I have to say that, especially in high school, they just line him up as a wildcat and he's gone. In any event, this gives a different dynamic to our run game, y'all. All right. The other dynamic is pure unadulterated speed. Yeah, you heard it. So we've got a fantastic all-purpose running back in DeAndre Swift. We got a bit of a bruiser in small Kyle Manungai. Adding Cole Bennett, he's a little bit of a bruiser as well, a la David Montgomery, I have to make the little comparison because that's who he kind of reminds me of. But now you've got something else. You know, something that just nobody can catch. And you line that up in the backfield, man, like, again, if he's established relatively early in the NFL, he could easily have 500 yards on the ground, if not double that. Just a matter of how frequently they're going to run him.
All right, Trish.
I was going to answer that, but I don't think that this is a top 5 offensive
running back room.
Running back room yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe next season or thereafter, but between obviously Thomas is going to have some running back reps, and I think he'll be able to do more with them than DJ was able to, speed and skill set wise. But I just think that there are too many wide receivers and tight ends that you got on the roster as weapons, that you run enough to make play action work. And then it's just, 4,000 plus or whatever passing yards, to now whereas I don't know how much Ahmed is an upgrade, but I think the running back room is a year away from being like the top 5 running back or, a top room in the league.
All right. Let's get to the next question. He says, Crimson says, at the panel, who do you think could be a surprise cut before the 53? Surprise cut.
Surprise, huh?
You want me to answer that?
Yeah, you go ahead.
I will not.
You will not?
Mm-mm.
Why?
I'm gonna let y'all handle it.
Well, we going to, but why don't you want to touch this one?
What
I didn't say I didn't want to, but I'm just not.
Well, I don't know. Shit. What? Well, surprise.
Yeah, that's the word.
Karan Amagaji be a surprise?
No, I don't think so. And I would say the same thing. I don't think Karan would be much of a surprise. I think he's on the bubble. I think Roschon Johnson is on the bubble. I think Britton Brown is on the bubble.
None of which are surprising. Terrell Smith on the bubble. Surprising.
TJ.
Javon Dexter?
Oh, snap. Snap.
TJ Edwards?
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
What?
You might have. I think he probably nailed it with the TJ.
I
think you nailed it, dog.
Yeah, he just doesn't match speed-wise anymore.
Yeah. Plus, he's injured. Plus, he's coming off an injury, which might make him a bit slower.
Well, yeah, that too. But yeah, because they were saying linebackers coach I saw that interview, and he was saying, TJ Edwards, smart guy, can play all 3 linebacker positions, would love him for you to marry his daughter. But, he's slow. And he's coming off an injury. He's in the building rehabbing, every day, which is good, but he was already slow. And now he's coming off of a broken, leg or ankle or whatever the injury was. So he ain't getting no faster off of that. So with the direction this defense is going, and you look at the room, Jack Sanborn, DeMarco Jackson, Devin Bush, then they brought in Keyshawn Elliott, who they hire on. They've been developing Dominique Hampton. It's getting kind of deep in there.
Okay. So I'm going to give you one more.
Yeah.
Terrell Smith.
Yeah, Smitty.
How you going to cut him? He's just coming off of an injury like that.
For that exact reason. You see what I'm saying? Perhaps he hasn't come back fully from the injury, or the injury has hampered his ability to play to the degree that he was playing last season.
Kids, it would be different if he was established like TJ. If he was established like TJ, then that's a better argument.
Yeah, that would be.
I agree. Your argument with TJ is better, but I'm just saying, I don't expect him to cut Smitty.
That's what Trish want. That's what Trish want.
No, that's not what I want. I'm saying because of what Patrick is saying.
That's what you want.
No, that's not what I want.
Why would you want that?
My is coming from if Ahmed is healthy, doesn't he push Swift?
No, let's be
Because Ahmed's not a blocking back. He's
no
a
threat to Swift, man.
Let's be real on this one. Salvin Ahmed and like DeAndre Swift is leaps and bounds better. He's easily the better running back in all capacities without question.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it would have somebody else would really have to step up and take the reins at RB, possibly really like a Zavion Thomas in dual duty just makes him irrelevant, and they could just line up Kyle. But like, yeah, the fact that, like, I'm with you. At this present time, I believe that DeAndre Swift is a key facet of the offense. I don't believe they have a true replacement for him at this present time, as well as a backup in that capacity. Right. So, like, I would even sit down and say, like, maybe Kamanungai steps up, but who's the real backup in that case? Is it Salvin Ahmed? I don't know.
I would say surprise, because like all these guys we mentioned wouldn't be surprised. But a surprise might be a soft tissue having a fella like Kyler Gordon.
No, they can't cut him. It's too.
They just re-signed him.
Just signed him. Too pricey to cut a Kyler Gordon.
You know, but he can't even get on the field yet.
Soft tissue. There's the rub, and that same rub prevents me from suggesting as a surprise, which I don't think everybody thinks is a super surprise, Tyrique Stevenson. Because at this present time, I kind of expect Tyrique to win over that CB2 role, and I expect Malik Muhammad to probably wind up in the slot in absence of Kyler Gordon.
All right.
Wait, no, there's one more.
Who else you got?
I mean, I don't know how it would be a surprise. Let's just say, Gabriel Palencia. Does he supplant Cairo Santos?
Oh
no,
maybe. I don't know nothing about I can't really speak to the kicker situation.
You know what? I'm gonna give y'all a trick bag on this one.
Okay.
Gabriel Palencia, deep in the season, where are we playing at? Are we playing inside? We playing outside? We playing fair weather or not?
Well, he's isn't he the hefty lefty with the big leg?
I hear what he's saying, though. He's saying Cairo is kind of lights out in Soldier Field, and that has to be taken into consideration.
40, 45 yards, sure.
You know what the distance is, right? You know what the distance is. But he is lights out within his distance, within his wheelhouse. He's lights out. So it's a tough one. It's almost a situation where you almost want to have, like, and ain't nobody trying to really do this. You almost want to have two kickers. You know what I mean? You want to have a guy who's lights out from 45 plus, and then you want to have.
It ain't gonna happen. They are not gonna stretch this roster out to keep
two kickers. Like, I'm with you.
No, it ain't.
That's
happen.
Crazy talk. It's
All right,
crazy.
we got one more question. This is more to the conversation we were having about what it costs to be an NFL player, and that's this. Anybody can read it. It's from Lord Crimson.
Said 15 to 30 a week. Imagine the struggle.
15,000 to 30,000 a week. Oh, we were talking about the practice squad guys or guys at the bottom end of the roster. And how 15 grand to 30 grand a week ain't no money. And so basically Crimson is saying, hey, you know how much y'all get paid? Suck it up. And I think Nomad's point was, like the very next practice, the very next workout, the very next game, your career could be over. And as we saw from, that kid from Buffalo, freak accident, you could, be unalived on the field. So yes, it's a game, but the physical repercussions, how many times does it take to get hit in the head to get CTE? I mean, that very next time, now you get that shit. And so that 15, 30 grand don't mean nothing, in a few years when those effects are ruining your life. So it's all relative, the amount of money, because you look at, baseball players, basketball players making $30 million a season. and they get contracts for like 7 more years at that amount, only going up. That's that, not living in reality kind of money. Whereas 15 grand in reality, that really ain't no money, because it's not consistent. It's maybe for a few months. You know what I mean? So it's not guaranteed, for any kind of longevity. So it's getting what you can get while you can get it, because that'd be it.
Man, that's what I've been saying to my son sometimes, man. He's like, man, Dad, I could go take offensive line snaps and probably be in the NFL tomorrow. But I don't have any interest in ever going on that side of the field. I'm like, damn it, boy, if it turns into a couple $1 million, go do it, man. Go get your money. And if you want to bail out. Look what Diamond did. Diamond played for a couple years, got a big contract, and was like, peace. See you later. Do what you gotta do. Get paid. But I can't blame him either way, man. I can't. Big ups to Squirrel White and Le'Veon Moss for doing what they felt was right. Same thing with Dalton. Big ups to you for doing what you thought was right. Ain't nobody on this panel trying to tell you any different.
There's a business decision that has to be made when you're part of this league that will chew you up and spit your ass out.
You're damn right.
And you can either get a guaranteed contract that guarantees you a certain amount of money over a certain period of time, or you cannot. That's the thing. It's guaranteed contracts that don't really truly exist, because that contract can shift from this team to that team, and they'll try to wiggle out of every single dime if they can. And that's the conundrum that you have to face when you become an NFL player. This is a very, very let's just say ironclad contractual game once you get into this league. And that's the best thing I can say there. And to any NFL player that's listening to this, that sees a short that we embellish on what you can do, just remember this, man, save your damn money and be kind of a minimalist while you're playing the game you love. And if I could tell my younger self that at the time I was playing the game with all that ferocity, I would say, play that game with that ferocity, but whatever dollar amount you get from it, be a minimalist about it. Make sure you stack them like a squirrel.
There was not many, but I've heard of players doing it. I think the last one was Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame, who said that, all of his NFL pay, he's not even touching. He's putting right into a trust or fund or whatever. He can live off his NIL money and his his endorsement money. So, all the game checks are getting put away.
So I look at it similarly, but a little bit different. I always wonder, and like a great example of where I'm going is Caleb Williams, actually. Caleb Williams came into the NFL and immediately opened up his own business and has folks, that are connected to him working for that business. So he's helping his people make money while they make money for him by reinvesting his money. And that's what you need. You need vehicles to make up that tax money that you're losing. And by vehicles, I don't mean cars. I mean financial vehicles that actually make more money. If you stack it in the bank, tax man just gonna eat that 30-odd%.
Because isn't Clutch Sports a thing and Chris Paul because of LeBron James?
100%. He took that money, reinvested it, helped his boys step up, and now his boys got more money, and the other players that's making him more money. Here's
the dangerous thing about what you're suggesting, kids, and it's not wrong. And you're looking at yesterday, and I don't mean that as a put down. I'm meaning it in this way. You don't look at what's happening and what happened yesterday as a reason to do something tomorrow or today. I'm gonna tell you the reason why. It's because we live in today's current events. And today's current events say that you can't really trust the economic outlook of what everybody tells you this is what you do with your money to get gains and all that kind of stuff. And that comes to an extra sauce show. But I'm telling you that out in the open as a comparison to what you're talking about, not to put that down. I think it's valid in any other atmosphere. But today, I don't think that's the best thing to do. I think the best thing to do is to sit on it, put it in some kind of account that might get you some gains, but don't put it out there as okay, I'm trying to get some gains here or there because you're really gambling.
Well,
It's
but there's so much money involved here that it's not a gamble; it's an investment, which are gambles, but more
Well,
researched and due diligence. Because look at the contract that just got signed, like Caleb Williams that Kez brought up.
mhm.
he got part ownership in a females soccer club out east somewhere. Him and JJ Watt, I know, are at least two of the investors in the jams.
Peanut butter and jam business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
peanut butter and that business. And they just got a contract to be the official peanut butter and jelly of the NFL. I mentioned earlier, Caleb Williams just settled with George Gerving, to split the Iceman trademark
Moniker.
between
Mhm.
moniker between football and basketball. So he has all these other off-field endeavors, investments, if you will, you know, and this is nothing to do with his football salary or his potential 30 million, $50 million a year salary that he'll be signing in a year or three or whatever that is. So it's that you save, yes, because I'm sure he's putting money away. These are just things that he's bought or invested in, rather,
hey,
and
So
Chris,
which will
can I,
uh,
make money.
can I tell you something very interesting that I saw? And this is more recently within the last 48 hours. And this comes to a micro view, kind of looking out, like we were talking about progression. You can have a macro view looking into your micro. You can have that kind of progression, or you can have your micro looking into your macro. Either one. That thing goes the same way economically. And with the changing of the times right now, which we cover on Extra Sauce, Wednesday, 8 p.m. Central, this is one way I would look at it. And this, I'm just giving you kind of verbatim of what I heard in this video. And he said this thing that really sat with me. And this is in a response to what's going on currently in the global marketplace. He's like, everybody looks at the global marketplace and they look at these big unit businesses, these big block chains, all these people that's making big money, investing big money in these different places. He said, but the heartbeat of economies are local, and they are in places like restaurants and places like that. And they're the kind of the first ones to feel the brunt of any unease
oh yeah.
in the economy. Let me finish this one out.
Mhm.
And he says it like this: if it's like, there's no better way of an indicator of how people are feeling about everything going on around them other than how they spend their money in your local economy. If they are in there and you have a busy Friday night and everything is bumping and booming and people are making money, people are spending money because that's how it works. It's a great time. But when you're looking at a Friday night and it's kind of sparse, you're looking at that for a week. That's one thing. But you're looking at it for about 3, 4 weeks at a time. That's a bigger issue. That's telling you that people are a little uneasy about spending their money. They're starting to be a little reserved and a little hesitant about that. And so what I'm trying to get at is if a NFL player that's making X amount of dollars during the week is wanting to look at in this economy, not the economy of yesterday. If you want to look at this economy and how to invest your money, look at it from a micro view on out. Go local, and if that goes well, then you start moving on out.
No,
Yeah, kids, you don't live in
No.
the United States, man.
I'm not. It has nothing to do with country.
Why would you disagree with what I just
I'm
said?
going to tell you why. Because it has to do with assets. You want to have hard, tangible assets that are resellable. That's what you want to invest in.
You're talking about a macro view, kids.
Why would you look macro when you have millions of dollars?
You don't have millions of dollars if you.
I don't. But a football player.
If you're a young player that's on a futures contract, you don't have fucking millions.
I'm not talking about really.
That's where the conversation came.
I'm talking about like a Caleb Williams, not a.
That's where the conversation.
Not a.
It came from
not $15,000. Like if you're getting $15,000 a week, you take the 15 grand and you leave. Contract, you really can't. You really don't have enough. I'm just saying you don't really have enough to invest in anything other than
Caleb Williams.
Maybe paying off your college or paying off small debts that you might have.
Everybody don't have that money. We're talking about.
But this is what I'm saying. I'm saying like a guy like Caleb, different situation. If you're on a futures contract, maybe you're right. Yeah, you probably do want to invest in something local and small. But in any event, like I would have to agree with that for that smaller guy. If do invest like. Regardless, investing in an asset has to be tangible. I would say maybe you're right. Maybe you buy a restaurant and you run that and have your family run it so that it's recurring revenue for your family. But I would heavily suggest investing in a tangible asset that you can sell when times are tough.
Like Jordan Vandenberg in his Georgia Tech NIL money, he bought a laundromat.
Boom. Like that's what you want to do. Something like that. If you're making small, relatively small, $1 million or south of that, tangible asset.
We're talking about the guys on future contracts. That's where that question came from.
Okay, and I kind of backpedaled to suit that conversation. Even then, still, I would not suggest you sit on it because the taxman is going to take 30% of it every year, and next thing you know, it's gone. So you want to take that money. Buy something hard that in the worst case scenario, you can resell. I can resell this laundromat. I can resell this.
But every day you got to go in there and guess what? Collecting your money.
That's it.
Kid, here's the thing about asset, purchasing and things like that, whether it's in a small space or a big space. That's all. Every last bit of it, where you're talking about whether you're making $15,000 a week or you're making Elon Musk money, it's all roulette. Every last bit of it, you can gain or you can lose. That's the thing. And I'm describing to people that's watching this Bears content, young futures contracts guys that are trying to find a way to get something out of what they want to do. And I'm giving the advice, just don't do nothing if you're unsure. Is basically what I was saying. If you're anyways unsure about any of this global marketplace, whether it's in the micro position or macro position, just do nothing until you're sure. When you're sure, that's when you start making hardcore moves. Until then, sit there and let that accrue something. Put it in some kind of bond market or something, or just save it.
This is what I'm saying. If you're just sitting on it, you're going to lose it because of taxes. That's what I'm saying. Put it into an asset.
Yeah, this is not
like even if you lose, even if the asset doesn't, it could just be real estate.
This is not an economic show, kids. We're just talking about football players, man.
Yeah, but football players from an economic perspective. That's where we've
they're 20 years old, kids.
That's okay. Hopefully they've got an agent, they've got some sort of financial advisor to have these conversations with. And like you really should, if you are that guy who's able to make that kind of money and you just really have no understanding of what to do with it. Like
because there's those players or just people, we're talking about football now, so players that have no idea what taxes are, what corporations are, what any of that stuff is. And we would, hope this like, well, you're about to be, financially secure or advanced, maybe you should, take some finance classes, learn about this stuff. It's like, nah, I got lawyers, I got accountants. Well, guess what? Those lawyers and accountants, they could be stealing from you. They could be, idiots. They could make bad investments with your money. And now you're broke. They've been getting their fees. They'll go on and get other clients. And now you have no way to recoup that money because you're not on the team anymore. And now you're just ass out. So you should know, as young players and people, how to control your money. Yes, you may have accountants and lawyers that do it, that handle it, but you need to know what they're doing and you need to oversee them if you got those people. You need to have a plan. It's like, look, I know I want to be a football player. I'm not worried about finances. What do I do with all this money? And to Nomad, he's like, well, just stick it in the bank and sit it there, or put it in a money market or treasury bonds or whatever. And, kids is like, nah, you get you some assets. Either way, you want it to grow.
Yeah.
You want it to progress. You don't want to lose it, through theft or through incompetence or through taxes. You want it to grow. And there are many different vehicles and ways of doing that. And that's that financial end conversation, of which athletes need to know or be aware of, have somebody close to them that you trust and have their best interest at heart. Because
that's the key, Trip.
All these people, they
what
don't
care. What I was trying to get at is, I'm thinking of 20-year-old me.
Yeah.
20-something-year-old me. And if I got all these different options around me, and at the end of the day, I got to come up with a composite with myself, with mine. None of this works unless I reach out and say, hey, let's go do this. My advice to anybody that's 20-something years old, and just even if you're slightly unsure, if you're any ways unsure, do nothing. Put it in a savings account and wait until you're a little bit more sure. Get information, learn, and that's the best way to go about it. Yeah. And until then, you do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Obviously, if you're not educated in that case scenario, you may want to just press the pause button. My little 2 cents is, find a trusted advisor, somebody that you like. What's really cool about what Caleb has done is his dad is the trusted advisor for the most part. And he said, hey, we're going to build around this. Here's the idea. And Caleb has sort of funded that idea. You really need to have that trusted guy who has an idea of finance and economics.
And he might fucking lose.
That goes with that goes for everything, though. That goes for everything, right? Like, you may lose.
If you put the money in the bank, it's only insured up to.
You're definitely going to lose. You're definitely going to lose in the bank, right? Like, there's so many different ways that you can lose.
If you put it in a savings account, it's going to accrue interest.
No, like the amount of it. But here's the thing: the amount of interest.
United States kids.
I'm in China. I'm just saying that the amount of money that you would accrue from an interest perspective in a regular bank,
it's slow, but it's
versus the amount you would be taxed year on year. You're still so deep in the red that you need to do something. Like,
if I had $1 million and I put it in a savings account, in a regular old savings account in a nationally bonded bank,
yeah,
I can live off the interest that I made and still get taxed.
So you're going to get taxed 33%. You're going to make maybe 0.3%. This is the difference.
You're operating a loss.
You're operating at a 33, more than 32% negative.
It's about how much you can lose if you go effing around with people that you just assuming know what they're talking about.
No, but what he's saying is, if you leave it in the bank, you're gonna lose automatically, because
no matter what,
you're gonna lose if you F around with the wrong people. That's the conundrum most people are dealing with. We're talking about trust, and we're talking about young people that are being asked to trust these different people, and most of them don't. And some of them that are just immature enough to say, you know what, I like where this is going. Let me just put my money here. And I'm telling you that it's not necessary. You can just hold on to it. If you lose a little couple of dollars, in that, dude, listen.
So let's just do.
We gotta close the show. We're
gonna hold on.
Ain't that.
Let's just do some quick math. On a $1 million contract, you're losing 33%. So you're starting out, and this is every year. You're starting out at $700,000. If you leave it in the bank, you're losing $300,000 plus every single year.
The same guy that before we started the show was like, "Let's get out of here."
Okay, let's get out of here.
Ain't you the same guy?
Let's get out of here.
You're trying to turn this into a financial advice show.
But we're having a really good conversation, and because I'm saying something that actually is factual, and if you leave the money in the bank, you're going to lose money, and I don't want to leave that out there as a suggestion to the young folks in the world who might be in this predicament. You know what I mean? I don't. You want to end the show. I'm just heavily suggesting you don't leave your money. For me, if it's $100,000, I would heavily suggest you don't just leave that in the bank, because you're going to lose 30 grand. You know what I mean? On a lower scale, you got to do something with it. Scrolls has made a killer suggestion, which is ETFs / dividend. If you can find a dividend stock that'll actually give you back a little something, you can cut into some of that 33% we're all losing.
Let me explain.
That's what I'm trying to talk about.
All that deep ass stock market talk. You're talking about 20-year-olds. That's what you
find an advisor. And if you can't find an advisor,
you didn't know this to the dexterity that you know it now at 20.
And this is why I have to share it. You understand?
I didn't know this. I know
at
now.
20 years old, you're right. At 20 years old, I didn't know. But now that I'm much older than that, I have the ability to share that knowledge with a 20-year-old.
You do might be able to utilize. But this ain't a financial advice show.
This is correct.
Okay. Yeah, but your financial advice was to let it sit in the bank. And Ked's financial advice.
I'm just saying that's not the right advice to be given to 20-year-olds. That is about to lose $300,000 a year with your advice.
Get your ass shellacked when you don't know shit out in the market,
bro. You're getting your ass shellacked to the tune of $300,000 every year. And that's what I'm trying to say. Don't do it. And let me say something. One last thing. If you are 20 and this is your situation, you've made it to the NFL, you're making potentially $1 million a year. Find your homeboy who's good with math. You might be slanging on the block way back when, whatever it was. You go find that homeboy and you put him through school. You go pay for his school and you make him your trusted advisor. Now you know you got somebody you trust. You put him through what he needed to do to get to a positive situation. You've invested in him. Now he's gonna invest in you. This ain't. Now we can end the show.
This ain't time to be willy-nilly with your goddamn money and saying that this. The problem is, kids, and what I was trying to get at the whole time is you have very rocky, very questionable, downright despondent world economy, where what we knew as norms no longer exist no more. And I'm talking about today. I ain't talking about yesterday on how to handle your money, how to manage money. And yesterday, you would have had it would have been a great argument. But today, in today's current events, in today's current market, which is fluctuating right now as we speak, it's being turned upside down. It's topsy-turvy at the least. I'm giving the advice of in that environment, what you see locally or what you see internationally, if it's any kind of questions about it, don't do nothing. Nothing. If you lose 30% of your money through taxes or whatever you're going to lose them through, then so be it. But if you know nothing and you want to learn, then don't do anything. It's all I was saying. That's it. And you leave the marketplace altogether until you're more sure about it. That's the best thing to do. But this is a show that we talk about football, and we're talking about football and football players' assets. and the things that they have to do with the amount of money they make, let's say in a week on forward to a year. You know what I mean? It can go. Everybody has their opinion about what someone should do with their own money, but it ain't our money, it's theirs. And we're gonna leave it there, man, because guess what? Football still has to be played, and they have a job to do, and they have to do that job well. And however they manage their money, I hope they do it right, man. That's all I can say. But let's close this off with some final thoughts about the show tonight, what we got going on Wednesday night, and I'm gonna pass this rock on over to the Canuck in Canada.
Yo, great show. I'm actually a hell of a lot more excited about this 2026 Bears situation than I was before watching the Zavion Thomas film. We spent a lot of time on Zavion today, and it's not, JCN, it's not the bank that's taxing you, it's the actual government that taxes you. You just don't make up, like, banks don't give you big interest anymore. Just a fact. In any event, I would say find a trusted advisor. This is where me and Nomad agree. Find a trusted advisor.
Don't nobody trust advisors no more.
I don't think you understand what I mean by a trusted advisor. A trusted advisor is a person that you trust who can advise you.
Don't nobody trust nobody no more.
Do you trust your mom?
To an extent.
Damn.
Mom ain't controlling.
When it comes to money,
I don't know what's going on with your mama, but
his name ain't Roquan Smith.
My mama is my mama, and I know my mama's limitation.
His name ain't Jaden Daniels.
I'm just saying,
I know my mama's limitation.
There should be somebody that you can trust. If there isn't, invest in somebody and build them into somebody you can
gotta have a smart cousin or something.
Yeah, man, a good cousin. Like my financial guy is my cousin. He knows me very well. He knows the markets very well. He's helped me do very well in the markets. It's just that simple. I don't just trust folks willy-nilly. You're right. It should be somebody that you actually, Caleb Williams' trusted advisor is his dad. His dad's a businessman. He's invested in his dad. That's kind of how it works. If it's your homeboy, help your homeboy out. He'll help you out, vice versa. But that's up to y'all to figure out. Find yourself a trusted advisor. And this works in just general business. If you're looking to do something specific in business, find yourself somebody that you can trust who will help you down the path of doing what you need to do to make your business more successful.
And as you say that, it's getting more common. You say 20-year-olds, but, I use my nephew as an example because he's 10 or 11 now. And so he's getting into that age to where, he's going to the camps, the agents are starting to look at, and the NIL people are starting to look at him because they got coaches and scouts at these camps and doing all this stuff. And so by the time they're getting to high school, the NIL people are already sniffing there. And so you got to, in this day and age, if you're going to play high school sports, college sports, you almost got to treat it like professional sports. And so, the kid's just worried about doing his on the field thing, but you got to have that around him ecosystem. And it should be a lot easier to have because all of these camps cost money. All of these individual training sessions cost money. And so somebody's making that investment into putting these kids in these camps, getting them to these schools and to these agents. And so who's ever making that financial investment needs to have that financial mind enough to know that, all right, going into professional sports, not saying that anything's a given or guaranteed, but if he's good and he makes money, how do we invest it? How do we, process it? How does that work? That's the same thing as looking at, all right, he's going into, trying to be in the NFL. Who are the agents that do this? Who are the good trainers? That's just a part of the business.
Yeah.
Financial literacy.
I would say this, man. All of the conversation we had at the very end of the show really, really applied to the world that we lived in. Not so much to the world that we exist in now, in my opinion. And I'm not here to negate anything that either one of these two guys have said, because I do think it's relevant in that world, where everything was the norm that we knew. I don't think we live in the norm that we knew anymore. I don't. And that's just where my energy comes from. It's about what I see coming compared to what I see going on currently. It's about today and what I see going on tomorrow as a byproduct of it. That's all I'm speaking to. What somebody does with their money at 20 years old, I can imagine what it was like at 20 years old and having a certain amount of money into my bank account and what to do with those options. And they're discussing, to their credit, what you can do. There's a lot of options out there. And I just would imagine at that point being unsure. And I'm speaking from that energy. And that's it, man. We'll leave that there. And I want to close this show by saying thank you all for being very interactive tonight. It was very interactive. The comments were outstanding. The comments continue to come in, and they're still outstanding. Even with Don Burr in the chat, still outstanding comments.
Don Burr's scared, bro. He's shitting a monkey out there.
Rightfully so, bastard.
I'm just saying, just the comments from Don have been very, very, very worryful for a team that didn't make the playoffs. Yeah, you might have beat us twice, but that's okay. That we were your Super Bowl. I'm glad that you won. The trophy is in the mail. That being the case, we'll see you in September.
Hey, man.
See you.
If you want to pick a part of the show to go and watch the very middle of the show when we were talking about breaking down why the pieces that we have offensively is going to affect the team defensively and what it could bring to the table. That was a very rich part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I had to think back right now on my toes. That was rich right there, because to us, that's exactly what it seems to be. They're preparing a team that's going to really, really excel offensively and give the defense an opportunity to pin their ears back and kind of play downhill. And to me, that's a very suitable formula to win football games and put yourself in a chance to win a championship, to me. And I said championship tonight because I meant it. So
you said it twice now too. That was twice tonight.
I'm not effing around. I'm not effing around when I say that. I think we'll be right there at the edge or taking that thing. I think so.
Let's go. It's gonna be a tough division, a tough a season, because guess what? It's a tough league. 18 games. You know what I mean? And of course, once the season starts, kitty cat bird disappear again. Go back into the little cubby hole and stuff. But yeah, that's what we got going, and I believe isn't this week the last Wednesday of the month, kids?
Yes, it is. I believe so.
That means that this Wednesday on Some Extra Sauce, MF in the kitchen, Chef Trips will be in the place doing some live cooking. So make sure you all are in the place to be for that. Oh, look at that background for those that can see. Yeah, that's nice right there. Chef Trips, MF in the kitchen. That's nice. Look at him. So make sure y'all are here on Wednesday. Make sure you are subscribed to the Nomad Network, to Kids of Canuck and Triple R SCS, also known as Sports Chicago Style. Appreciate y'all coming on this Sunday evening, a day before holiday. And if any of you all are charring meat tomorrow, you could send some to your boy. You know what I'm saying? I like charred meat, but it's all good. Y'all enjoy that. Y'all be safe. And once again, rest in peace to all those that are going on to the better place. And look forward to seeing y'all Wednesday.
Hey, man, I echo that sentiment, man. And really, really lean into the people that are no longer here that you remember, that was fun in your life, had an impact on your life at whatever point it was, whether it was somebody in your immediate family, whether it was a teacher, whether it was some principal, whoever it was, somebody that had an impact on you as an individual. To me, that's more the reason to memorialize someone that had an impact on you and helped you become the individual that you are today. You could be anywhere in the world, any kind of way, but somebody had an impact on you to help you get to this point, and they've been pivotal. And so I'll look at tomorrow in that way, and I won't just stay focused on my immediate family or my ancestors. I'll think about the people that had an immediate impact on me, and I'll give you one example. There was a let's just say I took a advanced English class or writing class when I was in high school, prepping for college, and that woman had I ain't gonna give no names out, but that woman had a profound impact on me and the way I carry myself now. And sometimes it's uncouth. I'm just being honest with you. I get a little, I'm fiery, I'm very passionate, and she knew that. And she's just like, you can use that to your advantage. You, I ain't gonna tell you all the stuff she said to me, but she laid it on me and really made me understand that I can be better than anybody expected me to be, because who expects a young black male to rise through the ranks of literary arts in the way that I was able to? And it advanced to all kinds of different things in my life. And I'm talking about I became very confident in a way that was literary, in a way that was writing. That's what I mean by literary, in a way of just creating. And that translated to music. It gave me confidence. And at a time in my life when I was a young preteen and I wasn't confident, I just knew that I had this inside me, but I didn't know how to just put it out there and be full chested with it. I didn't. But it was a white woman in my early childhood that gave me the confidence and pulled me to the side, yanked my ear, and said, "You know what? Boy, you are very much more than capable of doing anything you want in this world. This is what you pay attention to. This is what you're good at. And you use that to your advantage." And I'm doing it right now on the show. Just being outspoken and being myself and being unabashed about it, sharing my gifts with you all. And I give thanks to the person that is no longer with us to help bring that out of me. And so when you think about Memorial Day, think about that. Somebody that had an impact on you early in your life, and you just not seeing it right now. But looking at this show in hindsight, hopefully you'll find that person. And the next time we talk, we'll be able to have a conversation about it. But thank you to that person. She knows who she is in spirit. I love that lady for for bringing me into who I am right now. So I want to love you all right now with all earnest and say thank you for being here. Keep supporting the Nomad Network, Keza, and Sports Chicago style, man. I think it's worth it. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and make sure you share it with your friends. We got to leave you guys with these famous words: love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.